Welcome to Breakfast Central. It's Friday, finally TGIF. The day whenever I come on the show, I usually feel very, downside because, you know what, I'm about to leave the show and I really don't want to leave, but I gotta go. And but it's fine. I'm Joe Hansen. Good morning, our viewers. Thank you,
Joe, for speaking our hearts. I hope management is watching because we would like to work 7 days a week because we love to connect with you guys so much. I was only joking. It's Friday. You're welcome to the program. This is Breakfast Central. We bring you everything you need to start your day right here on News Central Television. I am Benga Borowa.
Thank you very much, Benga Borowa. Thank you very much. I almost called you Oliver, but you see this slip of tongue spirit that is flowing from Akpabio and his colleagues. It does not come to this show. I build a barricade. Anyway, good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, accurate timekeepers, co-debaters, and my fellow audience. My names are...
You know, I always ask a question. What did you always say? My name.
It has to sound lyrical.
Yeah, and funny.
It's music.
When you listen to the radio, you have adults calling in on shows and say, "Good morning, my name is." And
we work for a talk radio station, so
yeah,
I heard that for a long time.
My name. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, at some point, I think my cousin, a school he was attending, very young, whenever you ask him what should he say, oh, my name is this, and all of a sudden, I think they changed the teacher. And then he came home one day, someone says, oh, hi, hey, how you doing? What's your name? He said, my name. I said, don't ever.
I don't want to hear that,
my name.
They're very important. I told you a story about my friend that had to change her daughter's school. They were watching Africa Magic, and she said, Mommy, see snake. Said what? What did you say? Snake.
Went to have his child in America, and then they came back, and of course the child was great. He's a celebrity, I think a gospel artist. And the child said, Mommy, off the lights. Say, off which light? After all the dollars I spent to give birth to you, but you're coming here to say off the lights. No. You don't speak such. But anyway, my name is Olive MOD, and if you're just tuning in to Breakfast Central, thank you very much for tuning in. It's an exciting weekend because today is Friday, tomorrow is Saturday, but guess what else is happening tomorrow? Can you tell the world?
It's Olive's 21st birthday. So it's going to be a celebration.
I
wish you were on screen. We would have done the whole... Do you like Parara?
I love Parara.
You love the whole...
I love it.
Paparazzi
I love all
birthday.
of it so much.
Have you done your photo shoot for tomorrow?
I'm doing it today.
Yeah, you're a very intentional woman.
Yes.
You live life to the fullest.
Yes.
And I wish I could take one or two
You will take one or two because guess whose
you.
birthday is next week Wednesday?
Oh, it's mine.
It's your birthday.
Yeah, but I don't know why men...
July children are so smart.
For men, it's a reckoning that, look, you've added another age or you think about all the things you want to achieve. But I mean, we need to just take life one day at a time.
You need to take life one day at a time. I mean, we also have those moments as well where you're reflecting and thinking to yourself, what have I achieved in the past 1 year? And sometimes it comes with anxiety, or what am I looking to achieve in the next year? It's not about the fanfare of, pictures and all of that. Those are great, but it's also a time of deep reflection. And I'm hoping that men would also learn, dear men, to be kinder to themselves. And when the new year comes, allow yourself to take a breather. We always say, my mates are here. Your mates are also 6 feet under the ground.
Yes.
So it's important to release
Do you gift yourself on your birthday?
Oh, yes. I've been thinking there's a perfume I like. I think I'm going to buy that for my birthday. For myself. I like to buy myself a birthday gift. So, and shout out to all those who have sent and all those who will send. But my birthday is just one of the most important things that, we've highlighted today. There are several other important things. Let's get into that on Wake Up Conversations.
Where do we start with?
Let's start with Formula 1.
You know where to go to take us to Formula 1.
I mean, when I saw this, I thought, it must be a joke or someone is just farming for engagement on social media. But at last, it turned out to be true that Nigeria has officially submitted a bid to host Formula 1 racing in Abuja. So we don't know the details of that bid, if it's going to be a street circuit like Baku in Azerbaijan or Valencia or Singapore or Monaco, or they're going to have to build a Grand Prix track from the scratch. And these things, I mean, Formula 1 is one of the most, if not the most technical sports in the world.
Yeah.
You need, and then the amount of visitors. Do we even have Hotel Expo? Do we have enough hotels in Abuja
Yes, we do.
to cover the volume of visitors that might come in.
Yes, we do.
For Formula One, safety, tourism, the whole activities. Are we guaranteed electricity?
So the background
On that
for this,
day.
so Big, I know you
Is
are.
Lewis Hamilton going to come out of the car looking so dusty?
Big, calm down.
these
Calm
are
down. Big, do
conversations
the
we should
calms.
have.
Do the calms. Anyway, the National Sports Commission Chairman, Shehu Diko, proposed this. We do hear that an invitation has equally been sent to Formula One CEO, and also the man you just mentioned as well. Invitation has been sent to him to come down to Nigeria so they can have a tete-a-tete. I'm talking about Stefano Dominicali, who is the Formula One CEO as well. They'll be expecting Sir Lewis Hamilton to equally join that visit. And then they also extended visits as well to the engineers and architects. So what I'm explaining here is that
You submit a bid when you're ready. This is a feasibility
so this
study.
is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're inviting them to come and have a look at the landscape of Abuja. Because the architects, like you said, Formula One is a very, very costly sport.
Very expensive.
It's not that cheap. When South Africa did it in 1993, they spent a whole lot. Now, if you're coming down to Nigeria has the topography, especially Abuja.
Yeah, but the racetrack itself.
So that means
So they would
would have
either
to
build a
carve
fresh
out.
race
Oh, yes,
track,
yes, they have
you
to.
know, they would have to like work on something from the start. And it's not like they're making this bid for the Formula One to be hosted next year. They're looking at, I mean, from what I've seen online, as early as 2028.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of time. By then, elections would have happened. Hopefully, there will be some money
It's
left
not-
over from
look.
election that they will use
Then
to.
I believe the host countries pay some money for bidding. I've been to Sepang in Malaysia, F1, and Singapore. It's very, very expensive. Malaysia
It is.
hosted for more than 10 years. And there's a competition to get on the Formula One calendar.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult bidding process. And beyond Formula One, you could use the racetracks for MotoGP, other racing activities, and all
I'm
of
also
that.
hearing that Nigeria is competing with countries such as South Africa,
Again,
Rwanda and Morocco, which have also expressed their formal interest. So there are many things that we're going to look at to determine our capability to host if we're going to do this. Like you both have mentioned, there are certain technicalities that we must put into consideration. There's the fact that our airports, we have to look at the efficiency of our airports. You know, we're also going to have to look at our electricity situation. Is it when they come, the light go out and they start panicking and wondering what's going on? So can we power it? We're also going to look at our infrastructure. Joe has said that we have enough infrastructure to be able to handle.
No, he said the hotels.
Hotels, well,
Yes.
hotel infrastructure.
Well,
to be able to cater to all these people in the world. But
Yes.
there's beyond hotels, there are the roads. So there's so many things. It runs into
Security.
hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to host the Formula One Grand Prix.
Conservative estimate says $2 billion.
But I like that we're
Dreaming big.
ambitious. You know, I like it. I know there have been some very shady remarks.
But then people
we can
also
take some
talk
of the
about
reacts.
priorities. Is this what we should be looking at?
But it's not a short-term goal. It's a long-term goal. It's not something that's going to happen in 2025 or 2026. 2027 is election year. We know nothing else is happening except
and then
elections.
you think it will happen in 2028?
It's 2028. That's the earliest that this is going to happen. So it's a long-term
Well, the
goal.
FCT
It's not
minister,
something that's
the FCT
happening
minister,
now.
first of all, has to approve of it. He has to look into it because whether you like it or not, Abuja has a master plan.
Yeah.
And what they will do is to see if it will fit into the master plan and then it will get its approval. Aside that, like I said, and we also mentioned here, Formula One is very expensive. To actually, like as Abuja has the topography, has the entire structure for it, but it means that you will have to either create new roads, break some, create new entry points as well. And don't forget too that you have visitors who would come in from different parts of the
All
world
over the world,
to
all over
attend.
the
So
world.
are you ready to cater to them? For me, I think that is even
And
secondary.
it's a
That's
3-day
secondary.
event.
It's
You
secondary.
have free
The most
practice on
important thing is to
Friday.
build it.
Okay, Joe
But
has
it's-
shared his thoughts. I've shared my thoughts. Benga has shared his thoughts. Now let's see the thoughts of Nigerians
So- some
regarding
of those
this. There's been some
social media
really
comments are
interesting comments on
hilarious.
social media. King Premier says, make Nigeria police see Lewis Hamilton call on Yahoo boy.
Yeah, because he braids his hair. These are one of the things that.
They say, to traffic
It's
was
a
Hamilton for
possibility.
Barnes Junction while he was bending towards Aminu Kano Christians for his last lap.
Nigerians are very
Oh my
peculiar.
goodness. Nigerians want to host a Formula 1K. With those potholes, one lap and the cars will meet neutral alignments, not wheel alignment. Pit stops will be for tire changes and trauma counseling. Even the F1 drivers will be like, I beg. Now rally we did do. We have to get them out for this country. It's like,
This is
Nigerians are something else.
very interesting people.
You know, we start meeting and watching cows out for grazing. Maitama roads and part of Wuse can handle it. Though tracks would have to be reworked, redesigned to suit F1 purposes with pit stops, barriers, etc. I don't know why I find it funny. Maybe because we have more pressing priorities. Hosting a Grand Prix is huge, but the financial burden is enormous.
Yeah, and then if you're going to go for a street circuit, I don't think they're parts of. I would rather they just build
fresh tracks.
a fresh.
They have
fresh,
to. They can't
yeah,
use
you
existing
can't use-
roads.
you
But
can't do
the wake-up conversation for us here, as well as for many Nigerians, is the fact that while we're thinking of Formula One, we do have our own indigenous sports that we can export and use it to invite people for tourist attractions. There are many. There's Dembe, which is gaining grounds.
And it's gaining
It's
momentum.
gaining mad grounds. You have foreigners who are coming to participate in Dembe. With the sports team here at U Central put up a very fantastic package on it where they covered it from end to end. You have foreigners coming in. They're even engaging in the sports. I don't love the sports, by the way. Just saying.
it's violent.
It's violent. But
But you
then
love
again,
WWE wrestling.
I don't.
Okay.
Funny
It's
enough, I never did.
And
I did
rest in
before.
peace to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan,
as
he
well.
passed at
Ooh,
71.
I stopped watching
Rest in peace
wrestling
to
when I
him.
knew it was fake.
Me too. Please help me tell my mother that it's fake, because I don't understand her love for wrestling.
It's fake.
And they analyze
Mom
it.
loves
My mom loves wrestling and football. Wrestling, that's all they watch in my house whenever they come visiting. Wrestling and football, and I don't understand it. And I'm like, Mommy, this thing is fake. She said, okay, but their blood, what, can't you see the blood? This one is injured. Can
But
they act?
the
I said, "Mommy, yes."
Ugandans have taken wrestling to another level.
Did
You
you
need
see
to
the
check that
concrete
out.
floor? Have you seen the
well.
Ugandans
But I
wrestling?
think they were using mud before,
Yeah,
so
they're
now
using
they
mud. I mean, when they
Is it the one that is the intergender wrestling?
Yes.
When the girl beats pieces from out of the boy body.
It's
Not a
very
wrestling fan.
entertaining.
Anyway,
Well,
I,
but
thought
then
I
again-
think it's too violent in sport.
So you have Dembe. You also have there are many indigenous sports that you mentioned. The one we use, the waterway sports from the south. There's so many of them that I think instead of bringing it's people are angry.
This one is in
to
sport.
be
I've
honest.
forgotten that name. That one that they used to do.
Oh, the hang grab. Oh yes. It's an
Arm
international
wrestling.
sport. It's
Arm
an
wrestling,
international
yeah.
wrestling.
We should-
It's an
I
international
should-
sport.
What? Pick to last guy check up.
General market. The problem is different people have different rules for what. So what's the general rule?
It's not indigenous.
Whether we
so-
like it or not, I also agree with the people who say rather than invite or bring Formula One to Nigeria, create your own and invite people to come and enjoy. It's a no-brainer.
On the flip side, though, I think we've talked about what the disadvantages will be. I think we should also talk about the advantages, because it's not like it's all a sad tale.
Don't throw away
If
the baby
Formula
and
One
the
were to come
bathwater.
to Nigeria, there's so many advantages. We're again putting Nigeria on the global maps in the sporting world.
After they leave, what happens?
No. I'm saying I'm looking at the advantages, because we've talked
for
about
the
a lot of
economy,
disadvantages.
tourism,
There's
visitors.
going to be. Do you know how much businesses will make just by the sheer volume of people that will come into Nigeria? Our airlines will make a lot of money. Our hotels will make a lot of money. You know, supermarkets, it will bring a lot of trading. They're bringing their FX into the country. So there's still the upside to that. There are people who would come to Nigeria, and maybe in that period, tourism, there'll be a boost in tourism. So it's not like it's all doom and gloom. There are the positive angles to this, and we cannot but highlight those as well. But I want us to move from there to another very interesting story. OAU, something has happened in OAU. Great Ife. No great
Formerly Obafemi Awolowo University. University of Ife.
Yeah, that's what before now. There are certain universities, anytime they
When you
say
say great Ife,
greatest
they're very proud.
Great.
And
Well-
I happened to spend some time in that university. It has one of the most beautiful campuses, if not the most beautiful campus
Because if Lewis
and
Hamilton-
landscape in Nigeria.
If Lewis
Absolutely.
Hamilton were to visit Nigeria and he went to Great Ife, there might be problem. You know, he
Why?
may decide to explore.
Okay, yes, based
There might
on his
be-
hair.
So now let's tell you why there may be problem. Reports have it that there is a new dress code for students in the University of Ife. And we saw this interesting document they tagged confidential. In view of the contemporary trend of events in the university,
Please,
any
can we
student
just- yes.
found in violation of the dress code in the university risks rustication for 1 semester. Now look at it. Sexually provocative dresses, rustication for 1 semester.
Hey?
What constitutes sexually provocative
Backless
dresses?
clothes.
Because first of all, to some people, you can be fully covered and they will still find you sexually
Olive, what they
provocative.
simply mean, don't show your lap.
That's not true. This is subject to multiple interpretations. It's similar
exactly.
to what happened in Delta State. With Delta State,
How's that going, by the way?
that's another conversation for another day. So backless clothes, rustication for 1 semester. Transparent wears, rustication.
Okay.
Everything is rustication for 1 semester.
Yeah,
Off-shoulder, please, what is bomb short?
Bomb shot. I don't you know
is
bomb
what
shots. What
Boko
these
Haram
girls are
wear now.
wearing.
Boko Haram wear.
No,
It's
what the
bomb.
girls are
Bomb.
wearing.
This
It's
one,
called
I just know how they spelled it.
No, they wanted to spell B-U-M. But
No,
the
I'm
person
not
made the
saying they
mistake, he
wanted
put
to.
bomb.
You can't be
That
saying,
means the
you
shot
cannot
will
be
explode.
putting a university document and you're spelling B-O-M.
Bomb shots.
Bomb.
Sounds
Bomb.
like, it
They
sounds
should have
like
put suicide shots.
suicide shots.
Suicide shots. Maybe they
For what
wear
Boko Haram people will
the
wear.
way
Bomb
Boko Haram
shots.
babes wear. Because
Wow.
what is bomb shots?
I didn't see that.
In a university document, then look at the next
Tattered
one.
jeans.
What is tattered jeans?
It's
please?
crazy
What
jeans.
is tattered? What
Shredded.
means? It's called shredded jeans.
Exactly.
What is tattered jeans?
I think I know who typed this.
There must be some elderly person.
That woman
No. It can still be a young person that types rubbish.
has the
Tattered
trend.
jeans, then dreadlocks. Again, this reminds us of why as a
Fairing for
society.
male, cowries for female. What's that?
I think this earring they were going to
You
write.
put fairing. Or
Yeah.
This is
Are you
these
sure
are
this
the
document
issues.
is
This
real?
is a university.
Is this documentary?
You expect the
So
highest
that's why I want to believe
standard.
that this thing, that
No,
they'll come
it's-
out to tell us
I
that
think
it's
it's
fake.
AI.
That is somebody that's just being mischievous.
it's auto
We're taking
generated.
it, and this is like a way for us to give
Micro mini
OAU
skimpy
an
dress.
opportunity to come and debunk this ridiculous document.
Sagging for male, female.
Micro mini
Hair
skimpy
braiding
dress,
for
sagging
male.
for male, hair braiding for male.
Unconventional wearing of face cap. Binga.
So what is conventional?
If you wear it backwards
like
or to the
side
side,
or
come on. I mean, this is this.
Tattoo, indelible markings for male. So those who have tattoos,
So those who have now,
for
what do they
money
do?
To go
They
and
will have
do
to cover it
laser.
up
Cover
or
it up.
erase it.
Crap,
Or
jump
wear hijab.
tops.
Olive, you can't wear this, so you won't make it into the university.
I don't make the cuts.
They will tell you, you go back.
And me, I was planning to do multicolored braids, so I can't go there.
T-shirts with obscene inscriptions depicting immorality,
extra
hooliganism.
rings. So extra, the ladies that have
Yeah,
like
they have
the-
like 4 persons.
What
to
is
wear.
that?
Charlie Boy cannot do his PhD.
Wow.
No, he won't
Wow.
be allowed in.
They will rusticate him.
Wow.
Yeah, he would keep.
He will feel all the
All
even
of
the
them.
bomb shot.
Heavy. Please, what is makeups?
Heavy
First of all,
makeups.
that's terrible English. What is
I
makeups?
really hope this
Did you see
document is fake.
rumpled
I
and
want to
dirty
believe that
clothes?
it's fake.
Because how can a
is fake.
university
It has to
come
be
up
fake.
with-
It has to be
But they
fake.
need to debunk it.
Hair
So-
plaiting or weaving by male students. In addition to the above, any student found guilty of violating the following dress codes in university risk rustification for
But is this
rustification for 2
not
weeks.
discriminatory? That means Elizabeth Joyce, aka Portable
Portable
Omola
baby,
Lomi,
cannot go up.
he can't even gain admission for 1 semester. He has
That's
failed
so sad.
everything.
That's so sad.
Sagging, tattoo, earrings, multicolored hair.
Rumple
Unwelcome
clothes
touching.
sometimes.
Guys, did you see that? Unwelcome touching, kissing, and hugging of opposite sex.
So I cannot hug any of you.
You can't hug anybody.
Sorry, guys. Producers, we need to know the letterhead. We need to see the letterhead
Massaging or
of
sitting
this
on the lap
document.
of so they couldn't put
Is
up.
this Obafemi
So
Awolowo
this
University?
cannot be.
This cannot be.
I say this cannot be a real document.
Please,
Can we go to the top
Let's take it up to
of
the
the
top.
paper
let's-
where, the one that had the
Is
letterhead?
this
the
Obafemi
beginning?
Awolowo University or Obafemi Awolowo Secondary School? Because I need to know what's going on here.
No,
Let's
can
take
we
it to the
please
top.
scroll to the
From
top? No,
of
the beginning of the document. our producers.
The document from the top, so we see the
The part that
letterhead.
has confidential written, the beginning of this document. First of all, I just want to say that I do not believe this document.
No, we do not.
We
I
do
don't-
not.
I don't
None
want
of
to
us
believe
believe
it.
this document. We believe that,
Yeah.
but the letterhead says
Confidential.
Obafemi Awolowo
It looks
University,
doctored.
13th of June 2025,
They
and
should-
it has a ref number. We believe that this is a fraudulent document that was done by some students in the university to cause mischief. We
Yeah,
want the
I
op-
believe it's from the university.
I don't believe
Okay,
it's
so
from,
you're
I
not
can
with
never
us.
believe it's from the university.
You are
I'm
against
not
us.
with you.
We can never believe that
It's
it
very
is from
possible.
the university. So we want to do an open call to Obafemi Awolowo University to please let us know if that document
The dean.
came from them or if it's just some
Dean
fraudulent
of Student Affairs.
document
Yeah,
made by
Dean
some
of Student
students to
Affairs.
cause a
Please.
public outcry or uproar. But I don't believe that document.
But there's some things there that I agree with.
E.g.,
Taking things overboard, skimpy clothing, sagging, you know.
so, I hear you
Yeah.
when it comes to that. Because when it came to, like in university, I studied law, of course. We had a dress code.
Yeah.
White and
white.
black for 5 years.
Well, you had sometimes jealous,
So the
of
good
other
thing
people
was
who
we were in
were-
our separate campus. So like what was happening in the other campuses, I wasn't
I
aware.
mean, when you see your friends from other campuses, like, you know, all
Colorful,
swaggy,
you're wearing black and
Not
white.
really, I got
Did
used
you
to
sometimes
it.
say, oh man, I wish I could?
Not really. I actually got used to it because it made your life easier as well,
you
especially
still wore
if
black and white in
especially if
law
you're a Lapo baby. If you're a Lapo baby, you don't have a lot of clothes.
Please,
So
for the
once you
benefit
have
of the
like 5
audience,
white shirts,
what is Lapo for the benefit?
tell them. Go on X. Lapo baby versus Nepo baby. I was a confirmed Lapo baby. When you are struggling through life, I can't be doing fashion.
But we
I think
thank God
it's a leveling
for life.
ground. We thank God for life. It's a leveling ground knowing that all
For
of us are
growth.
wearing uniforms. So it's not so obvious if my outfit is not popping. And especially because I mean, a number of us went through university and it wasn't the most pleasant journey.
Yeah.
It was a journey of struggle for a number of us. So I didn't complain at all. It was in law school, however, that they now became strict. In law school, from the door, if your skirt is above your knee, they will turn you back. In fact, you couldn't carry colored handbags. There are certain types of white and black. Even in the white and black, there were regulations.
It's good. They don't want you to seduce the judge. My highness, how are you?
Let's move on to the next story. This Friday is something else. Binga, do the counts. Next story.
My highness.
We apologize, guys. It's just today's
I
Friday.
mean, it's
Okay,
Friday. We
you
need
know
to
how we
loosen
get
up
on
a
Friday.
bit. We need to loosen up, all right?
Okay.
Before we go into those very tough
are going to another
conversations.
My
Sorry.
highness is for royalty. What do you
Your
guys?
hi-
Your my lordship.
My lord.
My lord,
Your
my lord,
worship,
my lord.
depending on the court.
My lord is Jesus Christ. I can't. Maybe that's why I didn't study
Go
law.
to court now.
These
I need
things
to
are very.
call
How
your...
can I call a fellow human being my lord?
But it's a title. It's
I
not,
don't
it's
agree.
not
So
that
you will
it's
never
the
call
name.
That's
the
why.
judge, my lord.
That's why I'm not a legal luminary.
So if you were to appear in court and to...
I will not.
As a
And they
witness,
say, please stand up. You say, my
address the
lord.
court.
Then it's worse in Yoruba films. It's Oluwami. And when we go to church, we say Oluwami. How can I call a fellow human being Oluwami?
It's a title, though. It's not the
I
name.
can't even.
You know.
It's clashing.
Anchor,
It's
anchor,
clashing
my
with my
anchor,
religion.
my anchor, you know. But if you say
Oluwami.
Binga, you know,
Arákùnrin.
guys,
Arákùnrin Johansen
this Friday,
ló jí kẹ̀kẹ́.
My lords, your worships and your honors, please ignore my colleague. That's
don't
why
know.
he's not a lawyer. He's
Exactly.
a layman, so he's speaking from his lay perspective.
Man.
all right, let's move on to the next story. Binga, I think you have this one as well. It's got to do with the NSAS. Yes, we do have an update
yes.
concerning NSAS. The news simply is that court has ruled in favor of NSAS protesters, fines the police 10 million naira. Court has ruled in favor and then fines the police 10 million
That's a positive
naira.
one. I mean, we're still, the Nigerian police is always, recently, is always in the news for not so pleasant reasons. And this is one of the reasons, extrajudicial killings, acting out of the boundaries of the law, you know, violating people's human rights. And the courts have done something great here. But the question is, will
Who
the
go pay
police
am?
pay? We had Barrister Evans Ufeli here the other day, and he says, you know, there's a word he used where they would gazette or something, the money. And sometimes this police bank accounts, because of the new system, is very hard to get them to who would enforce it. Yeah, but I mean, it's a landmark judgment, and I hope it would spur the men and women of the Nigerian police force to act more professionally.
Anyway, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos ordered the Inspector General of Police, talking about the Commissioner, to pay the sum of 10 million naira to NSAS protesters for the reason that they went ahead to violate their fundamental human rights.
And just to mention what the court violations are, so it's not actually about the 2020 NSAS. According to court documents, the protesters gathered peacefully on October 20th, 2024 at the Lekki tollgate to commemorate victims of the 2020 Lekki shooting but were violently dispersed by police using live ammunition and tear gas. So this is not about the 2020 protest. It was those who were protesting or not really protesting, were commemorating the 2020 protest. In affidavits presented to the court, several applicants described gruesome acts of police brutality. One, Mr. Baje, said officers kicked him in the groin and stepped on his genitals. One female protester, we talked about this one as well, one female protester alleged she was sexually assaulted and groped. Another applicant said her leg was hit by a tear gas canister, causing her to bleed, after which officers beat and dragged her despite her injuries. The 15th applicant's leg was hit by a canister and she fell and was bleeding. So if you look at the reports that they've given about their experiences, and you remember, this was just last year, it's not too long ago, October last year, where we were reporting, we had our correspondents live at the Lekki toll gate. And we wondered, what is happening? Is there a war about to be fought? Why are there these army tankers there? Because they were, again, anticipating a repeat of what happened in 2020 and trying to, prevent that from happening. Every year since then, I think 2020 was the year that traumatized them.
I remember the boat, the driver, the e-hailing cab driver too, who they tear gassed his eyes, and he couldn't see. He was complaining that he couldn't see, and then he was still dragged into the Black Maria. And then a few persons who were just passing by were apprehended and told that they were part of the peaceful protesters, and they said, how am I part of it? The lady whose leg was hit by the canister as well and was bleeding, we also had covered that here on the station.
And there was also altercation with journalists too.
Exactly.
A drone was seized.
Exactly. And don't forget too that while all of this was going on, you see, I don't know how to say this, but it's very painful. Olive, you just ran through a list of persons who were impacted or affected badly during the peaceful protest. Do you also realize that, on the other hand, News Central also covered the others who were the area boys too, that were trying to see what they could do to disrupt the peaceful protest one way or the other. So here on News, here on this station, we also had our reporter. I'm sure you've seen the promo very regularly. That the area boys brought the canes and they were telling him, get out of this place. We had petitioned the police. We took their faces are glaring, they're showing there in the video. And we told the police officers, these are the guys who were threatening journalism, who were threatening reporters, who were threatening us from covering the news and breaking the reports to everybody. And the police said, don't worry. They came here on the station on the breakfast show and said, don't worry, we're doing all we can to get them. Till today, nothing.
Another important part to this case that we must mention, apart from the 10 million that they've been granted, is now the judge was M. Kakaki. He says, upholding the applicant's case, M. Kakaki granted express orders against the Nigerian Police Force and the IGP, who were the first and second respondents, and awarded 10 million naira in general damages for the violations suffered. Now, the second part, he also dismissed the state's attempt to justify the crackdown based on the earlier Lagos High Court ruling that restricted protest venues. So basically, the state was trying to hold on to the fact that there was an earlier High Court ruling that restricted protest venues. Remember that they said you can't protest in certain parts, they would limit you to certain parts of the protest. This judgment has dismissed that, saying you can't rely on that. It would be great to have a conversation about what the implication of this will mean if Nigerians again have now gotten the opportunity to understand that the right to protest is a right enshrined in the Constitution and a right that every Nigerian has, the right to peaceful protest, and that it cannot be taken away by judicial legislation, which some have, referred to as a rascal legislation. But we'll continue to talk about that as we proceed.
That's right.
Okay, before we go, I just want us to quickly take one or two comments on YouTube regarding some of the stories that we've discussed this morning. And just want to use this opportunity to especially appreciate Mokunye Chukwuemeka, who's always engaging on our YouTube. Thank you so much for constantly engaging with us. And thank you for the birthday wish. I got the birthday wish. Mokunye Chukwuemeka says, it would be nice to host the F1, but we're not ready. And then we also have Ochodi, who says, we really know our priorities. I believe he's being sarcastic with that one. And I'll take one more comment from Mokunye Chikwemeka as well, referring to the document. He says, I don't think this document is from the school. You're not alone. Joe and I don't think it's from the school as well. Only Benga thinks it's from the school. So OAU, please, you have questions to answer. Is that document?
You have 24 hours to respond.
So that Breakfast Extra can continue with the story. But that's all we have this morning on Wake Up Conversations. Let's now bring to you our top stories this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning on Breakfast Central, we'll be assessing youth governance and Nigeria's value crisis. Can Nigeria find its moral compass? A key question. We'll also be looking at the aftermath of the local government elections. Opposition candidates accuses Iba Monarch of assault. And we'll be heading to Katsina State, where we'll be looking at the state of insecurity, incessant bandit attacks. APC unveils new national chairman. He was on the show yesterday. Congratulations to him. And of course, we'll be reviewing the new front pages of the newspaper. Join us for all these and more. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. With daily discussions focused on leadership mistrust and youth frustration taking center stage within Nigeria's landscape, today we'll be looking at an issue that touches national nerve, youth governance, and the value crisis.
We shall be unpacking the erosion of moral values in public life, the role of young Nigerians in shaping the future, and whether this generation can help steer Nigeria back to a place of integrity and purpose. Joining us for this discussion this morning is author and public speaker Chris Omojade. A warm welcome to you, Chris. Thanks for joining us
for having me.
Breakfast Central.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you for being here.
Now, let's start with this. And if you look at the trajectory of Nigeria and you do throwbacks, you remember seeing the then Prime Minister Obafemi Awolowo in the United States, how he was welcomed, how my dad used to tell me that in University of Lagos they used to serve them meals with chicken, and then you buy a newspaper. If the vendor is not there, you leave the money, and the vendor will come back and admit its money there. So where did we begin to lose our core values? What role has governance played in this? Is it a government problem, or is it families? How did this happen? How did you get to where we are today?
Well, thank you so much. I think it's a confluence of both. It's a failure of both governance and it's a failure of people. Why do I say that? It's so amazing that you started off the conversation about history. Any nation or society that doesn't place premium on where they're coming from, we never get a sense of direction on where they're going. It's a no-brainer. We've gotten ourselves in a space where I know when I go on social media, maybe there's a passing of a particular individual or there's a throwback. The comment section tells you everything about our nation and where we're heading on.
Absolutely.
The comment section tells you everything. People have no idea about their identity. They have no idea about where they're coming from. They have no idea about the sacrifices that have been placed. They have no idea of the blood that's been shed. They have zero idea. You just gave the exact example of Prime Minister Abubakar Balewa arriving at the Oval Office and having all the carpet rolled out, speaking impeccable English. And you would have comments like, who is this person? That tells you everything. So if we as a nation do not first revisit the past and look for answers, there's no way the future is going to offer us anything. And our school curriculum has not helped us. Every single time I go through our education, it's comatose. It's for the dinosaur age. It's Jurassic Park. It's not forward moving and it's not stimulating conversations. So it's the reason why we are where we are. I wouldn't step on some other toes, but I will shortly.
Okay, so I mean, you've talked about us going back in time, which is a very important thing. You can't go forward if you don't look back at where you're coming from. There's a role that the society has had to play, but the society consists of families.
Yes.
So how has family played into this conversation, this broader conversation of the decay, the moral decline that we're seeing, and the value erosion system?
Like I said earlier on and all, it's the government has its failings, the family. His dad told him, by the way, the University of Lagos is still the best university in the country. Just that I put it out there. So
we'll argue about that.
I just said I just put it out there. It's Unilag and everybody else. So
wow.
he said it, that his dad mentioned and sold this stories, telling about the way it used to be. And unfortunately, where are those tales and where are those stories? You don't find them. See, let me tell you this. If you go through history and you want to look at great nations and you want to look at great empires that survived, everybody has their, the peak. But you find out that beyond external invasions that took down great nations, what really, really killed most nations was an erosion of internal values. I can tell you for free. That's why when we look at our nations that are at the apex today, that seem to be on the dwindle, if you really, really want to track it back, you'll find out that at the very foundation of it is an erosion of values. Once values go out of the window, it's just a matter of time. It's like cancer. The decay starts from, you don't need any external.
And it affects every facet of society.
Every single part of it.
Religion,
Every single part of it.
Private sector, everything.
So how can leaders start to transform and change things around, turn things around? We've seen the politicians, whom many have said they do not have good leadership. Therefore, it doesn't trickle down to both the people that work with them, to every society. So at what point can Nigerians start to say we must hold the leaders first accountable for not showing good leadership?
Well, we've been saying this and we'll continue to say it and we'll keep on saying it. We have to hold them responsible because clearly one of the cardinal principles that govern leadership is the fact that you must learn to lead yourself first. People definitely look up to these individuals who clearly do not live up to what they should be doing. So for instance, now I'm at the traffic light junction waiting for the light to turn green. And a gentleman in an Hilux vehicle believes that wherever he's going to is more important than everybody else on the road and decides to go past it. What he has done inadvertently is sent a signal to everybody else that it can be done. So before most times we go on to blame commercial drivers for, I always say that they're looking up to a lot of these individuals who they see racing go back and forth. So they think to themselves, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And it trickles off the way. When you see people, for instance, I like what Lagos State government is doing concerning waste management and all. We do agree that Lagos is a small landmass for a huge growing population. But it beats my imagination how you get out of your house in the morning, tie refuse, go up and drop it on the street. Or you're trying to cross the street and right there in front of you is a bridge. It's a pedestrian bridge. You see, all these things, when growing up, if I had to walk through two adults and not say good morning, I'll get a knock. I will get a knock. But unfortunately, before I got on the show watching from the room, I saw you guys discussing about the university, the OAU University. I giggled because I saw that yesterday and I have my own views. We also agreed that whatever we try to do, it shouldn't be on the extreme. But I think we need to instill some values. Values in the way we speak, values in the way we even dress. A lot of all these things. Why do you think, for instance, Olive, why some nations do not hide their disdain for social media to an extent? It's not, apart from national security issues that they may, want to put at the forefront, the honest truth is that they understand the inevitable, and when you allow a culture where everybody, Dick, Tom, Harry, says what they feel without some form of,
there's a Great Wall of China, for example, for blocking all this social media sites and perverse things that might corrupt their people for a reason.
Yes, we're Africans. And let's never forget that. We're Africans. I'm proud African, proud Nigerian. I mean, a few days ago, there was a story online about a lady who made a trip to one of the Asian countries and ended up having issues. And I mean, it was disheartening. But the honest truth is, I ask myself every single time this happens, where are the other African countries when all of this happens? Why is it always we Nigerians that are put as a scapegoat for a lot of this? The way you project yourself is the way you accept it. And that is the honest truth. The way you project yourself is the way. If I came in here dressed shabbily and, you probably may have to have called your editor at the back end to say, maybe we should continue with the news.
Are you saying this in respect to the general sense of us as a nation and how we're being perceived publicly? Or are you saying this in response to the lady in particular who was...
No, I'm talking about us in general. us in general, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Every single time a certain nation puts out information about their immigration policies or their law enforcement picking up fraudsters, it's like a thing of joy. I still saw it yesterday, but we've caught a Nigerian national. It's like pride for them.
Okay, so now let's get into the political space for a bit. We're starting to see lots of clamoring for younger people being involved in the political space, because the truth is you can't effect change being on the outside. You have to be a part of the system. But the concern that we often hear, or being shared, or the sentiment is that as a young person with genuine intentions, you go in there and you're influenced, and you all of a sudden feel like you're this lone person that is fighting a war amongst these people. So we hear people who went into politics with good intentions, and after a while, it's a thing of, if you can't beat them, you join them. Where do we start with the radicalization that needs to happen if we're going to ensure that we entrench strong value system in Nigeria's political space?
I think it first starts with the why of leadership. What's the reason, or what drives your leadership ethos? What's making you take that bold step to be able to say, I want to leave everything aside and give my best, give my all to society or to community? It starts with that why. When that why is shaky, it doesn't matter where you are. I'll give an example. Singapore, Lincoln. I mean, at the very time when that revolution started, and I call it revolution, you find out that it was a lone cut. But he understood that it was just only a matter of time before that bug was going to bite a lot more young people. This is where we talk about the feelings. The churches are failed. I mean, I'm a Christian, I'm a minister.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. There are so many institutions that have failed as regards being able to galvanize the youth. I'm talking about, so for instance, I have friends in politics at the moment. I have a friend who won the elections, local government elections in Lagos, and I sent a message, and now you're representing us. Now it's us. It's no longer going to be pointing fingers or no. It's an opportunity to show that I can get it done, and I would not be influenced by systems, structures, or people. So I think to a large extent that even institutions, if we do not end up stimulating conversations, ending up allowing people to rise up and understanding that I need to do more, I need to give my quota, we're never going to move as a nation. In my little community where I live in, I happen to chair the community of about 300 homes. And when I took that slot, I was probably in my 30s. I'm not saying I'm the best that has come out of it, but there was a determination, especially with the people I put together as a team, saying, you know what, now these old guys are going to look at us and say, now you have the chance now. What are we going to do? Are we going to make a difference or make a mess? The choice is always ours.
Now let's talk about practical steps we can take to instill integrity and a rebirth of our value systems. Because growing up, we didn't have Yahoo boys in our lexicon. We didn't have hookup. You read the newspapers every other day. There's a boy that killed his girlfriend that ran away. His name is even Killer Boy. You know, things that somebody orders an iPhone, kills the delivery person, buries the body in a septic tank. You know, there's no fear of consequences. It was said that it takes a community to raise a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, okay, if the community fails, we have religious institutions as backup. And I think in Africa, per capita, we have the highest numbers of religious institutions per capita, per square kilometer on the African continent. And it doesn't seem to reflect. The major religions of the world condemn killing, stealing. So if our leaders have failed at that and the law enforcement part has failed, why are we as a people, community, failed in, instilling discipline? People do things with no fear and consequences. What's really going on? And is there hope?
Yeah,
how can we change this?
So you nailed it right at the very end of it. So I have two amazing young kids. I know they probably may be watching or not, depending on what mommy feels like. So
Hi, Daddy's kids.
yeah. So one of the things, Chris and Ethan, one of the things about both of them is their mom takes them on what she calls a consequence drive. That's what my wife calls it. Meaning that every time my son does something, she makes him understand there's a consequence to your action. Yeah. And that's at the home front, the home unit. As a nation, we have zero consequences. And what is that? It's a ticking time bomb. When I know that regardless of what I do, I'm going to get away with it. What you've done is that you're creating a cesspool. That's the best way to describe it.
Culture of impunity.
A culture of impunity that sooner or later we're going to blow up in everybody's face. So it is scary, but one of the ways is for us to be able to, like you said, track back when it comes to consequences. The second one that I think you mentioned is that even as young, I mean, we have a youthful population. And when you have a youthful population, guess where in the last decade, 20 years, inspiration comes from the media. I love wealth. I love the good life. You all look amazing. I love the fact that I can take my kids somewhere good. I love the fact that I can pay for good school fees. But guess what? We are beginning to literally be at the brinks where we are celebrating literally everything and anything else. And any nation that does that, it becomes a scary proposition. Wealth is being pushed in people's faces in ways and manner that, I mean, I know growing up, we had parties, we had a lot of that. I mean, I have nothing wrong with people having to do things the way if you work out for your money. What I mean is that the media itself, we need to be careful of the stories that we craft. Because guess what? Leadership has failed. Sometimes some people will say the church system have failed. Guess where the young people are going to get the inspiration from? From the media. So when they see...
We also need to be careful about the people we make famous.
Exactly.
So I don't know how we can navigate this because the world is a global village. And right now, as you can see on social media, different apps can make celebrities overnight.
Yeah.
They make celebrities over the slightest things.
Yeah.
People become famous for sometimes things that you wouldn't applaud, right? They become famous and...
It almost seems the more stupid things you do,
the more famous.
But it's not peculiar to only us as a nation.
Exactly what I'm saying. So it's not peculiar.
It's not peculiar to this society.
So, which goes back to what I was trying to mention, that it's a global village.
Yeah, it
on
is.
social media, we can connect with America, we can connect with the United Kingdom, different continents, and these are things that happen in other countries as well. So how do we as a nation then ensure that we're protecting our children in a world that is a global village?
There is a
fast-paced digital society.
national orientation agency that needs to wake up and understand its fundamental role as set up by the Constitution. There has to be a constant orientation. I'll give you an example. Do you think by any chance that the White House and the Oval Office and the Office of the United States of America is one of the most glamorous? I can tell you that it is one of the most organized media crafted stories that is dished out to the world. I mean, Okogan died yesterday. We're all mourning. Do you understand how much even the U.S. government over the last couple of years, decades, pumps money into the media to ensure that a narrative is created in such a way that their leadership position remains where it is? What am I saying in essence? We leave too much to chance. We live too much, and when you have weak systems, weak structures, for instance, talk about movies that come out. You spoke about the rituals, a lot of this. For the longest time, we all laughed about these things.
But they have consequences.
They have consequences. They have their consequences. Every time I put on the news and you see, somebody found out that if I kill this person, I can make money and all, and there's no repercussion to, you just mentioned somebody killed somebody, travels around the world, the police said they've caught them, police. It's only just going to breed more and more of it. And if you look at it, it all still boils down. They all just want to end up in the media. They all want to end up celebrated. Nobody asks where the money comes from. Like you said, in the US, UK, you can become a celebrity overnight. Oh, yes, you can. But I can guarantee that the minute you become a celebrity, it's also the end of when it ends, you know. The day it starts ending. Because why? It's
the
built.
tax authorities.
Everybody starts putting their attention on you.
Yeah.
I saw a video once, a lady, I mean, even though could have been racially inspired, going to press the doorbell of somebody and says, "What are you doing having a Rolls Royce parked in front of?" And he says, "Oh, I work out for my money." No, I want to know, what do you do? It sounds funny. When I was young, if I go to school and I bring something home that I didn't take to school, I would explain.
You'll explain.
I would explain. Even as little as a pencil or a pen, you would explain.
Even party packs.
I would explain.
But let's be fair on the parents. It's parenting harder now. You have distractions. And you also, I mean, back then, your mom could afford to stay at home. The big dad could, take care of everyone. He will work, you take care of the home front. Yeah. By 4 p.m., when those color bars come and NTA starts, everybody is at home. Daddy had one business, one job. Mommy had one job. Now, parents are hustling.
I
The
agree.
economy is not, everybody's working. So
I agree.
We leave parenting to nannies and the streets.
I agree.
So, I mean, how do you survive? How do you do a good job in this fast-paced, digital, tough economy?
Permit me to slide into the deck of cards, my religious and ministerial leaning, which clearly I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, and it tells you that the way you bring up a child, I believe so much in that to a large extent. So those seeds are instilled even from very early ages, no matter how much it is. For instance, I say kudos to a lot of you amazing women, because at night I'm knocked out. My wife would still go to the kids' room at night. What did you learn? What is this? What happened there? You know, there was an incident a couple of months ago. I mean, my kids attend a very good school where, unfortunately, I guess the ball was dropped, where my son gave an example of a comprehension passage that did not sit well with my wife. And my wife triggered it, and all because she had those night conversations with my son. Otherwise, my son would have found out that it's okay for Kevin to wake up and be Anne the next day.
Wow. Wow, it really is. It's a tough call being a parent in 2025.
Oh, yes, it is.
It will take a lot of intentionality. I'm hoping I miss the days when we had communities. Back in the day, they would say it takes a village to raise a child. Right now, everybody's just doing their thing solo. I would hope that in the near future, we can have more communities and systems that would help each other. At least I need to know that if I'm going somewhere and for some reason I can't pay attention to my child at that moment, I can drop my child in Benga's house, knowing that Benga and his wife will do a great job of looking after my child. We need to go back to that period where we had communities in raising children. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
this
you for
morning,
having
Chris.
me.
It's been a very interesting conversation. I hope that that challenges you, our viewer, to think about the ways in which you can, in little ways, maybe that's a last way to end it. Like, let's give a call to action. A call to action.
And also the phrase education is a scam.
Oh, can I just jump on that?
Okay, please,
Yes.
jump on that, and then after that, give us a
There's a certain entrepreneur who's coming out with a book very shortly, and when I saw the comments there, that broke my heart. I mean, I'm an author of 14 books, and I understand how powerful books are. And somebody says to me, what's this man going to teach me? See, the first thing we need to do, allow our little ones also go back the reading culture, being able to read about their heritage, being able to read about their nations. It has a way of stimulating and expanding the bandwidth of your mind. Also, call to action. Parents, it's crazy out there. We all know the kind of country we live in, but we can do more. I have parents that live in my community next to me, and we've all come together to be able to try and raise our own kids. I think we can all try and replicate that.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Chris
you.
Emojiade.
Thank you,
Again,
Chris.
we hope that this serves as a call to action that encourages us on the need to reevaluate the choices, the decisions, and the steps we're taking to ensuring that we create a value balance in our society. We'll be moving on now to another package. It was a defining moment yesterday in Abuja as the ruling All Progressives Congress held its 14th National Executive Committee meeting at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa. Key stakeholders, including state governors, National Assembly members, party leaders, and representatives from across the Federation were in attendance for the long-anticipated appointment of a new national chairman for the All Progressives Congress. News Central's correspondent Bettina Nweli tells us more in this report.
Unanimous decision, the APC National Executive Council elected the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation as the new national chairman.
Let me first of all say congratulations to you and to the leadership of our party, including all of you seated and those who are absent. This is a great day. Yes, we should leave a legacy of development, and the governors are here, 23 of them, to help identify with the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and we should put a committee together of progressive governors.
The appointment follows months of internal consultations and marks a significant turning point as the party sets its sights on strengthening its national structure ahead of future elections.
I do not take this mandate for granted. I want to accept it with gratitude and with my full heart and full mind to work together with you to build the party, knowing that all of us here are the mechanics of the party, and the party is our vehicle, and we'll fix it and move it to our destination of choice. I pledge, without hesitation, that I will work with everybody in the party. I'll unite the party, I'll build the party, I'll expand the party with you as the focus and the building block and the support that I will require to drive the party as needed by all of us so that we can fulfill the dream of Nigerians who have reposed their hope in the Renew Hope agenda.
With the appointments now sealed, all eyes are on the new chairman to deliver on the party's promises and strengthen grassroots engagement. In Abuja for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
Well, very interesting reports there concerning the APC chairman. Coincidentally, he was here with us on Wednesday when we discussed his role as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, but now we can say former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs turned APC chairman. But let's move away from that story and tell you that 13 children narrowly escaped being trafficked out of Adamawa State after a suspected trafficker was intercepted in the Jambutu area of Yola. The victims, all believed to be underage, were rescued and immediately taken to the specialist hospital where they are receiving medical and psychological care. Governor Amadu Fintiri, represented by his deputy, visited the rescued children at the hospital in Yola. The state also provided cash and food support to the victims and their families, a move that reinforces the state government's commitment to child protection.
So immediately I received a report. I called the chairman, told him that this is what is happening. Immediately someone is going to meeting where the member of Yola Lot was also invited. They discussed at length what happened and what to do. There and then, the chairman and member through the actions, they went to police headquarters to find out what actually happened and what the advice from the police. So immediately we were informed of what happened and what is expected of them to do as leaders. They immediately swing into actions, and the result is what we have seen today. 13 were missing and 13 were seen. The level of knowledge that is security agencies is they are doing their best, but they should be at least improve on what they are doing. That is by checking the movement of the vehicles from here to other parts of the country.
Well, we're thankful that they were rescued. Hopefully, we'll continue to do more to ensure that we report these incidences, and hopefully the government will do more to ensure that they protect the children and the future of tomorrow. Well, let's quickly look at what we have. Most importantly, Olive and Benga having spoken about every single story, right from how we can manage the society with our guest who was live in the studio, down to the APC convention, which has brought about a new chairman, and now also children being rescued.
APC National Executive
National Executive, yes, the NEC meeting, and then also the children who were nearly taken out of the country. Very sad situation, and very interesting stories as well.
Yes, and we have also been following the story here on News Central, on Breakfast Central to be particular, the story of Tessa, who unfortunately, she's experienced a lot of abuse. Is a story of victory, and it's just been a lot of unfolding that has happened. We'll come back to tell you our thoughts on it, but we have a package our investigative journalist has been, investigating this Marshall Onoye, and when we come back, we'll share our thoughts on this, but let's take a look at this video.
For the uptenth time, Mrs. Juliet Addy, her son, Michael, and her brother brides are appearing at the Adagun Magistrate Courthouse in Ajegunle area of Lagos State. They are being tried in relation to an alleged altercation with a suspect that allegedly defiled 12-year-old Victory in April 2021. Mrs. Juliet Adi had at the time reported to the Ajeromi, Ifelodun police station, that her daughter Victory had been defiled by a neighbor known as Mr. Blessed. But since August 2023, they have been charged to court for allegedly assaulting the suspect. This hearing is expected to continue the criminal proceedings against the family seeking justice.
We have to take a further day to enable them, take over the file, for them to proceed. But it's left for the DPP, whether taking his file, for them to appear to de novo the case, to apply for de novo or not. It's left for them, or for we to proceed.
Although the three defendants are currently on bail, they are uncertain their case will be resolved before Magistrate Ramota Ilara in Court 11, the same magistrate that remanded them at the Kirikiri Maximum Correctional Center after being detained for 6 days in Ajeromi police station.
It has been frustrating. My younger brother was supposed to go and serve. He couldn't go. Together with my son. And because of the case, we could not even do anything. But we are coming to the courts nearly every month. And we cannot travel. Let me say, we don't have a life of our own now. This thing is killing me. It's taking the better part out of me. I'm no longer who I am. Because every night I do think of this thing. When this is going to stop, I want it to end. Let me and my family have our life back. I'm tired. I'm tired of this case. I'm tired. I want justice. And everything will end. Let us have our life back.
The case has been moved to the 14th of August. While Mrs. Juliet Adi and others charged in the assault case were present in the court, Mr. Blessed Azonuche, suspect for the defilement case, was not in court. This is against expectations that, given his stance as party to the prosecuting team, Mr. Blessed would have made his presence in court. In Lagos for News Central, Sarah Ayeku.
That's a really, really heartbreaking story to see that the suspect was not in court, and the matter has been adjourned to the 14th of August. I'm hoping that the judge, the lawyers will do their thorough job of ensuring that Victory Tisa and her family get justice. No young child, no young girl deserves to ever experience this. Unfortunately, it's the reality of what we have in our country, where people can be abused and then be bullied on top of the abuse. It's just I mean, I remember when we had her mother on the show here, and she could barely string words together. She just kept crying. Her mother and her uncle. It was a sad situation. Imagine going to report to the police, and the police that you went to report to are the ones that then arrest you. And
I mean, the Nigerian police, they have their work cut out for them. Their conduct leaves more to be desired. But hopefully, we'll get there someday, brick by brick.
Brick by brick, indeed.
We do hope so.
Let's bring you a recap of the conversations we've had this morning and then share with you what's coming up next. This morning on Breakfast Central, we assessed youth governance and Nigeria's value crisis, asking, can Nigeria find its moral compass? And we, of course, announced the APC new national chairman, Professor Nentawe Yewanda, who was on the show 2 days ago. And 13 victims have been rescued from traffickers in Adamawa State. And that is a story that we brought to you as well. Now let's share with you what's coming up next. Angry residents of Kwantamawa and Kudewa communities in Kerfi local government area of Katsina State took to the streets on Tuesday, protesting relentless bandit attacks that have left them in constant fear. The demonstrators blocked the Dutsima-Katsina road at Tashabarao, burning tires and demanding urgent government action. The protest, which lasted over 4 hours, disrupted traffic and drew attention to the growing insecurity in the region. News Central's reporter Rukaya Aliyu Jibia visited Kwantamawa to speak with affected families and residents about their ordeal and now files in this report.
Hindatu Kwantamawa, a mother of 14, hasn't slept in her home for years. Like hundreds of others, she flees into the bush every night just to stay alive. The residents of Kwantamawa and Kudewa community of Dutsima and Kurfi local government areas in Katsina have been pushed to the brink.
We don't have anywhere to stay. Many ran with their cattle from their farms. Our children can't stay either. We don't sleep at home. We keep running. Even my legs hurt.
Honestly, we have not been able to live with our husbands for even up to a year. We only live in forests with our relations. Our livelihoods have been ruined. They have separated us from our children and grandchildren. Our clothes were stolen. Some days ago, they stormed this town. We had to take to hiding.
Rural communities in areas affected by insecurity in northwest Nigeria often seek refuge at night, either in the forest or nearby safer communities. As a result, commercial activities have been disrupted. For these families, life has become a nightmare. No farming, no schools, and no safety.
We have continuously complained without succor. They kill our children, they kill our parents, and steal our properties. I am ready to show them where the bandit enclaves are. We must join hands with the soldiers and the Air Force to stop these attacks. Only a few people are able to farm now. Only 1/3 of the farmers are able to farm. If we are unable to farm, it is death that stares us in the face.
By 6 p.m., the entire village empties. Everyone running for their lives.
They've killed our livestock. We want authorities to solve insecurity problems.
A desperate plea from forgotten people. They've run out of time, out of hope. Their dreams buried beneath the weight of insecurity with each passing day. Farmers now cultivate only a fraction of their land. Hunger looms, fear reigns, and the bandits, they return again and again with no one to stop them. In Katsina, for News Central, Rukaya Jibia.
We'll be speaking with Rukaya at some point this morning so she can give us some behind-the-scene details about that very heart-wrenching package. But now we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll go on with all the conversations this morning on Breakfast Central. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at the story that has sparked little concern and here in Lagos State, following an aftermath of the local government elections and the serious allegations surrounding the Iba monarch. An opposition candidate in the just concluded polls has come forward with claims of assault by the traditional ruler of Iba, an accusation that raises questions about the sanctity of political contest, the role of monarchs in electoral processes, and the deepening tension between authority and democracy.
The candidate alleges he was physically assaulted by the traditional ruler of Iba land, who confronted him during a pre-election rally, accusing the candidate of challenging his authority in the community, as well as intimidating the candidate with the intent of forcefully making him join the ruling party in the state. We're joined this morning by the candidate to shed more light on all that transpired. He is the Labour Party chairmanship candidate in Ojo local government, Akogun Abudu Akinlola Olumayowa. Thank you very much for joining us. You, of course, have shared the story. You're the chairmanship candidate in Ojo local government, Akogun Abudu area.
Yes, for Labour Party.
All right. Thank you for that. What happened? Give us a background as to what inspired. We hear that you've made some very strong allegations against a traditional ruler. But give us a background of what actually led to this conversation.
Good morning, News Central. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share my own part of the story. It was around 5/17, July 5th, and 5th precisely, that our campaign was heading to Iba, as it's just to enter Iba. The campaign train was coming in. The monarch came out himself, told us that this town is a APC town, will not allow any other party to come into the place, you know. We had our media and every other thing on it. But before we could know the thing, it was just something else. One of the people he sent, one of his boys that used to be his younger brother, Jelili Ashadi, gave me a straight punch on my chest, seized the camera of our media men. The monarch himself took the rod to hit this camera person. And the guy said he's just greeting him based on the fact that he had once worked for him. So ever since then, we've written petitions to the police, the DSS, and thinking that Nigeria is a country established with the rule of law. So I did every proper thing, but we discovered that it was all effort and futility. And at the time, we need to just come up that, come save our soul. This is a country that somebody like me had served 13 years and 66 days with my whole life in the Nigerian army. And at this point, as the section 41 of our constitution says, as a Nigerian, you can move everywhere, stay anywhere you want at any time. Now, the freedom of movement has been breached, my rights have been infringed on, and nothing is just happening. It just seems as if when we went to the party, they make all sorts of claims, we will invite him, we will see what we'll do about this. Before I ordered my lawyer to do the needful, and it has expired on Friday that we will need to proceed to the court. But before we go to the court, this is another...
What expired on Friday just before?
I wrote to him that we demanded a public apology as a monarch to come forward and say, okay, I am sorry about this, and this may still suffice, but it seems as if it looks like a banana republic. And what we see is that this monarch had been doing this. We had several of issues at the 2023 general elections. Just recently, we had another issue around Alabarago where he went to establish park, and there was a clash between the other existing park that we had to lose an innocent life around Alabarago. Yes, you can verify, it's on the news. They will not lose. So I don't know. People that are threats to life and properties should not even be among us. Talk more of we having such person as a monarch among us. So those are the things we are saying presently. You know, in Nigeria, you remember the issue of an hotelier in July 2022 at Obomosho? Yes, he was killed. The US came because he's a citizen. You know, they even placed value for his own carcass. Talk more of the living. They came around August to pick, because he died July after he was kidnapped. They came August, had the investigation, took him back for burial around October, and still mandated the DSS in Nigeria to ensure that they investigate all this after the postmortem and every other thing is done. But in Nigeria, our lives are not even given value.
Now, Honorable Akogun, let's, going back to the incident of that day, had you ever had any relationship, any sort of interaction with Oba Suleiman before that campaign day? And what transpired after your camera person was assaulted, after you were assaulted? Could you carry on with your campaign? And what has there been any reaction from the traditional ruler so far?
Okay, you know, that same day...
Has he acknowledged receipt of your petition?
Yes, he has, because it was on Sarah. Sarah picked it too. He acknowledged that, yes, something of such happened, but he was denying the allegations. But the video evidences could speak much louder about this.
Now, did you ever meet him before the campaign day? Do you have any interactions with him?
No, we don't have any interaction. You know, due to how he has portrayed himself from the beginning, you wouldn't even want to go close as an opposition party. And we felt we are Nigerians. As enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic, we can move anywhere. And it's even election season for us. So you are allowed to do your campaign. And that's what we just did as a law-abiding citizen. Presently, what we see presently is same as if the country is established for some privileged few. And this is it. And the same thing happened during the elections. It was marred with violence, irregularities, stuffing the ballots. People even were voting with NIN, underage voters. This same thing was moving around as if nothing will happen.
Okay, would you say that this has been the norm when it comes to local government elections in the area before now? Is this something that the indigenous, the citizens in that area, the Nigerian citizens in this community will be able to say they can relate to, or is this a one-off?
You know, I wouldn't want to say something without evidence. I just left the army 2022. This is I'm just coming into politics, so I've not actually experienced how it is in Lagos. You know, I was serving in the north then at the crisis area. So, but this one I saw presently is just an eyesore because this was a selection and not an election. And that's why I felt that it is high time that we take our own country back. That's why, so I just want our voice to be heard so that people will see that this is going beyond what we thought or imagined. How is 2027 going to look like when we're having this now?
Okay, also in terms of reactions from the citizens there, at the time when this happened, you know, what was the reaction? And I asked this because a number of times we often complain about how injustice thrives when there is silence. Did you get support from the locals? Were there people who were there to stand up for you and maybe speak against this monarch?
Who will dare him? Who dare speaks when Oniba speaks? Who dare? It's just because some of us has a background of, we felt life we live only once. Even the life I'm living, I've shifted there several times when I was in the army. So it's just an opportunity to live again. And I felt I cannot be threatened. This is my own country. I've paid my dues. I've served this country with my whole life. So nobody can just feel you threaten me and you feel I'll just clap hands for you without saying mine. Like here, lending my voice on this impunity, brazen impunity.
All right.
So
I want us to look at, you said he told you you cannot campaign there.
Yes, sir.
Because the entire neighborhood belongs
to the
APC. And you can confirm that the APC won that election.
APC didn't win it. That was his election. That's why I'm telling you, the selected candidate of the APC, okay, we were talking about voters apathy at the time. We were talking about underage voting. We were talking about...
Was there underage voting?
Yes. There were evidence. Evidences abound.
Did you witness it?
I cannot come out. You know, it's my election, but I'm having reports everywhere, video. I could send much more. That could give you much more evidence. You see, the LP leadership had just decided to go to court to challenge these irregularities. There was no election. Last year, it was an election
was your
between...
name on the ballot?
Yes, my name was on
your logo was also...
Your logo is on the ballot.
Your logo, rather.
Do you know, there were even places opposite barracks that LASEC didn't even come there for voting at all. And these are places, these are polling booths that they should come so that people will exercise their franchise. People were disenfranchised. There were places like LASEC who won't say the ballot paper had finished. There were so many things that seems as if we don't even have stronger institutions anymore. We are strong men that you can't, no matter what, you cannot contend with them. That is their thought. But I felt once many of us start lending our voice and agitating for a better country, things will turn around. Who dare speaks? The Igbo cannot even come out to vote. This is a king that will go and get canes that they should be beating them. If you don't want the Igbos in Lagos, let's stop selling land to them. How come? Our fathers had even sent land to even swamp to these people. And these are people who generate revenue. Look at Alaba International. Generate so much revenue. Taxes, they give them stringent taxes, stringent that they could not, they are businessmen. When they put it on their business, they will definitely get it back. So it's so exorbitant fees. Things that okay, look at places that generate revenue, they had bad roads and every other thing. And people that don't generate revenue, that people have good roads in their own place. So those are the things. They are being biased with everything, and that's just the plain truth. The resources of our community is used for privileged few, and they cannot dare talk. Do you see what they did to them during the gubernatorial election in 2023? Those were the things we were talking about. And it's just worse this time.
What next steps are you taking to seek redress? And where are you in your quest for justice at this point as we speak? Well, what's the feedback from the police?
Like me, I believe when you do things that are against the law, there should be consequences. And that's why I've decided within me that he will serve as a deterrent, except there's no law in the country, that we should go to a competent court of law to prove beyond reasonable doubt why he attacked our campaign trail. Now, talking about the election, the LP leadership is contesting that. But as for me, they own the judiciary. The Lagos State governor, they can influence anything. We are just doing this so that to fulfill our righteousness that we had done it. I can tell you for free, people have lost confidence in our institutions. I myself had lost confidence.
But you're in court seeking redress against the...
I'm in court to fulfill all righteousness if they will do the needful. Have you seen what this king has done several times?
If you have all your evidence and the courts see that you have a valid case, why not?
Let's see. That's one of the reasons why we are here, so that the world will listen to us. Probably it could touch their subconscious mind to do the right thing. But if we just decide to say it's going to happen, don't let's lie to we are Nigerians.
Going from your very bitter experience in the local government elections, and I believe this is your first outing seeking elective office, would you continue your quest to try to make things better? Would you continue your career, this politicking, and seek office next time?
So I have not stopped. Though this is not the first time. When I left the army, I aspired as member Lagos State House of Assembly under the People's Democratic Party. We had our own issues, and I felt I moved to a party that I felt the principle I'm going to say is going to be effortless.
Which is Labour Party, right?
Which is the Labour Party.
And was it easy? Was it effortless?
It's effortless. Like it's based on the fact that you actually got something to offer. Let's have you come on board. That's what actually happened. Okay. So if we should go by throwing financial strength, no, it's not it. But they felt you got something to offer. Let's have you on the big stage, and that is what is happening. So I am not giving up. No,
are you going to move to the APC now? Now that it seems like...
I mean, they were welcoming you. And
they told you to move.
That will never happen.
With threats.
This is live TV. I don't know.
Yes,
there are so many changes within their ranks. But if it continues this way, I will never be on the side of a party that is against the people.
What if they apologize to you and then they make you an offer?
Offer? Contentment is a great thing. Godliness and contentment, they say, is a great gain. If my parents had wanted all these things, some of them would have been in political space. When I wanted to join the army, my father said there were people who abused rights, infringed on rights, and I said, no, let me just have this experience. I left the army, I came into politics, and said, no, they want to go and steal. I heard it, and I said, no. I am here to prove beyond reasonable doubt there are people who can actually be trusted. So if it's not about APC or Labour Party, but what we have now is the fact that I want to prove a point that I cannot sit back and watch people of low intellectual capacity decide not just my future, the future of my unborn kids. No, it should not happen. It should be heard at a time that I did my own best, and I know definitely at a time we will get there.
So your prayer now is for, I mean, this matter is going to court, right?
Yes.
So you're hoping and trusting in the judicial process to deliver justice.
Yes.
And what would you say your message would be to young Nigerians who are looking to get into politics, especially from your not so interesting or not so sweet political experience so far?
Thank you very much, Ma. I want to say something. The community where I grew influenced me so much, and I want to thank the Badragri people for me growing among them. Probably now would have been, the only job I will be seeking is to be a park chairman or whatever, because that's what this monarch has been offering our people. Send them to the park and every other thing. That is what we have now. But I've seen beyond reasonable doubt that as a young person, if you are seeing people that are ahead of you doing well, they are the role model, they are worthy of emulation, right. And that is why we are here presently. So my advice to the young people is, it is better they start coming out and position themselves to receive the baiting. Because you won't continue to become a media age to all these people, and you think you want to effect a change, carrying their bags and whatever. No. And that is why some of us came out straight that, no, I will not come and be because you will not stop being their slave. You will still serve their kids. I will not do that.
All right. It's been a conversation.
It's been a tough one, a very long conversation. But sorry, but maybe I just wanted to ask again. This monarch now, okay, have you seen him since that incident?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen him since that incident. Actually, the boy in question that they collected his camera was called to come and pick up the camera in Palace. Somebody you hit with the rod publicly. You're asking him to come after you showed the video that, okay, this is my video trending online already. Come to the Palace. You want to slaughter him or what? I don't know. Why would you ask him to come to the Palace when we have security agents that have written petition to? Have the area he infested?
As the police, have they acted? Have they responded to you? Have they said anything?
I have not heard from the police till date. I'm telling you that even at Manti, they were making us sort of, I know we're going to call him, nothing happened. It just seemed as if heaven will not fall. You know, at a time, I grant an interview with Vanguard. Vanguard was telling me directly, when you are seeing a video evidence as this, that this is the monarch standing directly. Vanguard was telling me that they did not see anything like that. They had to flag the story. And thank God for Moyele Showori that came through with Sahara reporters for us. Our voice would have been silenced by now. It is what it is. And that's what we're facing presently.
All right. You've highlighted some very important questions that we hope that security operatives, the police officers will also jump on and try as much as possible to find answers. So you said it's not an election.
The role of the Electoral Commission, the monarch, the Nigerian Police, so many people involved in all of this. But thank you for sharing your story.
But quickly before I leave, I want to still ask, I want to use this medium to congratulate the selected candidates the July 12th elections in Ojo local government. And I pray and wish the people have the good governance they crave. I hope the selection will be able to give people the dividends of democracy. Serve them well and not for some privileged few. See everyone as a Nigerian and not seeing some people as Awori having a first-class treatment and Igbo man or Hausa man having a second-class treatment. That everybody should be treated as a Nigerian. They are Nigerians. And these people you are giving second-class treatment contribute immensely to our society. And they should be given value for the taxes they pay, the revenue we generate from them. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Anyway, let's move on down to our next story very quickly. Founding fathers and leaders of the People's Democratic Party have met in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, to deliberate on ways of addressing the party's recent decline following a wave of defections. They say that there is a need to chart a new course for the party and end the crisis rocking the party, which has been ongoing for months. Our correspondent, Sumaya Abubakar, tells us more in this report.
It was a high-level consultative meeting convened to address what party leaders say is an urgent threat to the PDP's survival, the recent wave of defections, from founding members like Bode George, Jerry Gana, and Ahmed Makarfi, to current governors and lawmakers. The meeting brought together voices pushing for unity and reform.
We don't want a weak nation, a transformed nation with faith and confidence in itself and distinguished by a culture of excellence in good governance. When PDP is in power, PDP governs well.
We don't have to deal issues and engage in unnecessary squabbles or abuses. But certainly, we want to be visionary, to be straightforward and focused.
And my own appeal to those of you who are here, before we leave here today, as we go into the next few days, let us agree that leaving PDP is not an option.
With 2027 on the horizon, leaders say internal disagreements, poor communication, and weak party structures must be urgently addressed. The PDP national chairman, Omar Damagun, assured members that efforts are underway to reposition the party.
This conference is therefore not a formality, but a strategic reckoning. It gives us the opportunity to realign with our core values of discipline, loyalty, inclusive governance, and policy-driven leadership. We have spent too much trying to reconcile. Now we must truly do it and move forward.
And I'm happy, having realized that there's a problem, then what next? The next is, how do you go around solving these issues? And I believe with the way things are going, we're on the right path.
And I think that the time has come and the time is now that we will develop new wings to fly again.
Once dominant in Nigeria's political space, the PDP now stands at a crossroads. This consultative meeting could signal the start of a long overdue revival, or risks becoming yet another missed opportunity, as all eyes remain on how the party turns talk into action. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
Founding fathers of the PDP meeting saying that they are about to ensure that the party goes back to its glory days. But what is, or can you use to define a glory day? Talking about the times or the past? Well,
the 16 years which they held sway.
16 years.
16 years of PDP.
What would, yes. What did you do that would make Nigerians say, oh yes, let's go back? But the PDP is highlighting the fact that you cannot, they're beating their chest that you cannot compare what they did to what the APC has done.
You don't mean it.
In the past 10 years of being in
I mean, it's
power.
like comparing oranges and apples. Times are different. And the things, you could argue, it's a very difficult argument to make. But if you look at the metrics, if you look at exchange rates, things where they appear to be better under the PDP because you're comparing with the past, but it's not the absolute truth. There are different ways or mechanisms you could look to judge that. And the APC would also argue that, look, what they inherited from the PDP government, if the PDP had left the country in a better shape, we wouldn't be where we are today. So it's mixed bags.
I agree. Yeah. But then again, what's the way forward? Because the questions lies are...
the way forward is what they're doing, you know? Addressing
the issues.
Strategizing.
And looking for ways to get back. But will they be able to get back? Now, Benga, don't forget that there's a very strong issue that the PDP would have to contend with. The issue number one is the fact that you have people in the PDP who are saying that they're going to be working for the APC. Okay, just recently, the dancing governor said that, well, he's going to be working for the APC. Is it a case of him getting, and I would love to know if he was present here as well at this meeting to ensure that he sat down there with the members. And how would it look like when you look them in the face, deep in the eyes, and tell them that, oh, yes,
I'm committed to anti-party activities.
I'm committed to anti... And I didn't see the FCT minister. The FCT minister was not there as well.
He's busy doing FCT.
So it also shows that these are the members. And by the way, the PDP has moved its convention, national convention, to November. It was supposed to be in August. They've moved it to November. So that means they've given themselves more time to be able to see. I wonder why they decided to extend it to November. Because whether you like it or not, the moment we hit 2026, you'll be expecting that political parties would have. But anyway, they pretty much still have enough time. They have like 12 months to go before 2027.
It's good to see that the who is who. We saw the governor of, I believe, what state is that, and Chief Bode George, quite powerful people in the PDP fold were present. And at the same time, the APC, or the same day the APC was changing their national chairman. So people are strategizing, and we'll see the end result. And it was also nice to see Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan there in their fold.
I wonder how she feels about her political party. I mean, she hasn't, I don't think she's come out to publicly condemn them, but it doesn't feel like they've stood for her. Yes, they've been distracted with their own internal party drama, but it just doesn't feel like they've made a strong statement in support of her.
Even at the appearance at the National Assembly, we didn't see PDP party members. You asked that question. It was mostly activists and people who felt there was a great injustice done on her.
And then again, I wonder how they're feeling when they start seeing. And meanwhile, the acting national chairman, Demago, also put out a statement during this meeting where he said that they are happy that people who had defected earlier on are starting to return. And I wondered, and I said that was not what we have in the news. That's what we have in the news. What we have in the news is that people would rather leave in your party and go.
And the ones that have left pledging loyalty.
Pledging loyalty.
The president of another party.
Exactly. So I didn't really understand how he was able to come about with the database or the information.
The authors that are framing the political science textbooks,
and again,
for university students who have their work
cut out for them. Much work. Because they have too many references.
My head is spinning.
Too much story.
How are you a member of a party and then you endorsing another party member for presidency? It's unbelievable. It's an anomaly.
Yes, we're back to anomaly again.
Because it sets the tone for what we would not be able to handle when the scuffle begins. In the future. What it simply means is that ahead of 2027, we're going to see a lot of persons who would remain their party and say, oh yes, I'm supporting DC, but I remain as a member of the Labour Party.
Let's hope we're going to see a lot of
shenanigans. We're back into this again. Okay. That's right. All right, but also I want to see if there are any PDP related comments on YouTube that I can take as well before we go on a very quick break. But just to mention,
the Nigerian Senate has adjourned plenary until September 23rd, marking the end of its current legislative year. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, made the announcement after a closed-door session with lawmakers, urging them to use the recess to conclude committee assignments and inspect ongoing projects. News Central's Sagir Ibrahim brings us this update.
It's been several months of legislative activities, and it's now recess time at the upper chamber as it heads on annual recess, usually around this time of the year. Now, even though plenary activities will be suspended for the time being, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, insists that 2 months break must not become a holiday from duty, and hence he directed all committees, both standing and ad hoc, to complete work on pending reports to ease legislative considerations upon resumption.
The suspension is just plenary sittings. All ad hoc committees should continue to work. All necessary committees, the Diaspora Committee, Committee on Reparation, Committee on Interior, and others. This is the best time for you to undertake visits to prisons and all that. Do all your reports and make them available as soon as we come back. We'll have a special day to consider all reports. You are moving from plenary for the next few weeks, but you are not stopping your legislative functions because that's what your people elected you to do.
Now, the upper chamber is expected to resume in September, of course, and activities which usually follows after resumption involves the reconstitution of its statutory and also standing committees. Now, this reshuffle would usually position it to run in full blast in anticipation of fiscal policy and planning documents such as the medium-term expenditure framework, the fiscal strategy paper, which typically comes before the annual budget submission to the National Assembly. Also, the Senate is expected to attend the funeral of the wife of Senator Dicket Plank in Jos as a signature of solidarity with their bereaved colleague. From the National Assembly, Abuja, for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
Let's join our National Assembly correspondent, Sagir Ibrahim, to give us update on events at the legislative chambers. Good morning to you, Sagir.
Good morning, Benga. Thank you so much.
Great to have you this morning. I see you're looking very fresh, almost relieved that, you know, the Assembly will be taking recess. Does that mean you would also be going on recess yourself?
This guy. Well, the Assembly is on recess. I'm not on recess. Work continues for me. Of course, you know, there are a multitude of Nigerians out there who have an opinion about the performance of the National Assembly, as the case may be. So for us, work continues. We'll be hearing from those people, and we'll be bringing some of these details. But then even the Senate President had mentioned that the National Assembly going on recess, that is the Senate in this case going on recess, does not become an automatic holiday for lawmakers, because they're expected to continue with legislative work at the committee level at least. So this simply means that plenary, they have been suspended in this 2 months period, but it's supposed to provide an opportunity for legislators to fast-track committee work and also ensure that when the plenary resumes on the 23rd of September, all of the issues and all of the backlogs in terms of these committee actions that are supposed to have been done would have been concluded to enable a seamless, you know, completion of either passage or rejection or whatever the case may be. But the Senate President is doing all of this because it's actually very, very important as we go towards the end of the year that all of these issues are cleared, because, you know, the National Assembly is usually busy towards the end of the year. This is the time that they expect the fiscal planning document, the medium-term expenditure framework, the fiscal strategy paper, all tools used, you know, that come to the National Assembly ahead of the national budget. And you know what happens when the budget comes? It becomes a full-blown focus, you know, on the appropriations bill on both the House of Reps and at the Senate. So they do not want a situation where there's any form of distraction from them. And also, you recall the drive of the president also as well to maintain the January to December period for the passage and implementation of the budget. So all of these are pressures that the Senate president aims to avoid ahead, you know, of resumption in September.
All right, thank you for setting that context. Let's talk about how this might impact certain people, one of which is Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, who hasn't been in the House because, of course, she's been suspended. We've also seen the judgment that had said that there had to be a minimum number of days, 181 days that she would have sat in a year. So do you have an idea how many days the Senate has sat for this year and how this might even impact her? We should be able to meet up with the 181 days, seeing as they've gone on recess now. She obviously cannot sit again until they resume.
Yes, indeed. Okay, good morning, Olive. Good morning, Joe, as well.
Yeah.
So the Senate at this point has completed its legislative year. So the legislative year is not calculated, in fact, the National Assembly, as the case may be, is not calculated on the regular year basis from January to December, as we know. The National Assembly itself was inaugurated on the 4th of June of 1999. That was the first assembly, as the case may be. We're currently at the 10th assembly. So every year is calculated from June to June. And if you look at it at this point, we're in July, which means the legislative year has ended in June. Another legislative year has started. And usually when this happens, they go on a recess, a long vacation, to allow for their standing committees and their statutory committees to be reconstituted, so they prepare to run the National Assembly in full blast, like I mentioned, ahead of submission of several fiscal planning documents, including the appropriation bill and the national budget. But then for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduahan's case, yes, the legislative year has ended, unfortunately, with her not delivering the true legislative representation that, you know, her people would really deserve and yearn for. But then with the commencement of the new legislative year, we are hopeful that before the resumption of the National Assembly, you know, in September, her suspension would have been completed, because remember, it's supposed to run for the course of 6 months, which started in sometime, I think, in March. So if we calculate it, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, I think it's around that time that she should be expected to return to the National Assembly. So the question now would be whether she would be admitted into the chambers after completing her suspension without an apology to the Senate and the chair. These are the, you know, things, likable things that we want to see happen, or we don't know what will happen yet until the Senate resumes in September 23rd.
Thank you very much, Sigu.
Right.
We'll also be looking out for sitting arrangements when Senate resumes and when she's back in the National Assembly.
I hope one day you would contest for the National Assembly and you'll be at the Senate. So you see how all of this plays out, because the jobs are really, really interesting on your part.
Anyway, just to put it out there as we leave you, Sege, I'm sure everybody wants to know about the fight, the rumored fight we had between Senate Leader Okoyemi Bamidele and Senate President Godswill Akpabio. We don't know how true it is. Just one word. Is it true or not true? Just one word, quickly.
I don't know how true it is.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
There's no smoke without a fire.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, all right? All right, let's go on a break. We'll bring to you breakfast headlines very quickly.
Joe, good luck.
Welcome back. The People's Democratic Party has shifted its National Elective Convention, originally planned for August, to November 2025. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, announced the changes shortly after the party's 101st National Executive Committee meeting. He noted that the convention will now take place in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, instead of Kano, the previously announced venue.
2025 elective national convention scheduled to hold on Saturday, 15th to Sunday, 16th November 2025 in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Consequently, NEC directed the national chairman, His Excellency Ambassador Ili Adamagun, and the national secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, to officially write to inform the Independent National Electoral Commission of the time, venue, and agenda of the elective national convention in accordance with the requirement of Section 82, Subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 and Part 2, Sub 12 of the Regulations and Guidelines for Political Parties 2022. Preserve all the electoral mandates given to our party by Nigerians across the country. NEC directed the National Working Committee to take immediate legal action to recover the seat of all 7 members of the National and State Assembly.
In the meantime, Bayelsa State Police have arrested 8 individuals linked to the kidnapping of Justice Ebiyeri Omukoro, who was abducted on June 21 in Yenagoa and held for 12 days before his safe rescue on July 3. Authorities say the breakthrough came after reviewing CCTV and digital surveillance newly installed by the state government, which helped identify the abductors. Police paraded the suspects in Yenagoa on Thursday, while the gang leader, however, still remains at large.
And commit crime, you will pay. Parading these suspects here who have confessed the crime and admitted to their roles goes to show that the government of the state is accountable to their citizens. And that's why we have to put faces to the criminals and the authors of the kidnapping that happened recently. The roles played by each has been confirmed through investigation and profiling. The two women there are accessories as the mobilized logistics and support for the action to sustain the days it took them to.
Stakeholders in Nigeria's oil and gas sector have expressed concerns over the proposed establishment of a new regulatory agency to oversee the decommissioning and abandonment of oil production facilities, arguing that this will amount to duplicate functions. Speaking during an interactive session with lawmakers, they say that the creation of a new commission is unnecessary, insisting that the current framework under the Petroleum Industry Act is sufficient and effective. Chairman of the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, Al-Hassan Ado-Doguwa, however, revealed that the proposal is aimed at aligning Nigeria with globally accepted decommissioning standards.
It's the roles of the NUPRC, which is the upstream sector of the oil and gas industry, and the NMDPI, which covers the midstream and the downstream, both of which are currently discharging the DMA regulatory responsibilities effectively.
We appeal for the strengthening of the AI Act. It's an act that is more than 30 years old, and it should be retrofitted to meet emerging issues that were not thought about in 1992 when the then President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida passed the act as an environmentalist that he is.
We also recognize the commendable efforts of the regulatory institution in enforcing all assessing decommissioning practices. This bill is not meant to duplicate your work, but to complement and strengthen existing legal frameworks.
Mozambique's government is seeking to prosecute the country's main opposition leader, Venancio Mondlane, over civil unrest that followed last year's dispute elections. According to a formal notice presented by prosecutors earlier this week, Mondlane is being held responsible for inciting protests against the ruling Frelimo party. Mondlane, who has consistently claimed that President Daniel Chapo rigged the election, was summoned for questioning this week. The protests, which left more than 300 people dead, were the most intense opposition demonstrations Mozambique has witnessed since it gained independence from Portuguese rule in 1975. And that's all we have for you here on Breakfast Headlines. Join us again at 12 and we bring to you a full news bulletin for 1 hour. But in the meantime, stay with us. Front pages of the newspapers is up next.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central, and it's time for us to look at the newspaper front pages. And joining us to examine the pages this morning, X-ray and analysis, Mr. Dr. John, journalist, veteran journalist, and also politician, and also an public affairs analyst. He wears many hats. What hat are you wearing this morning?
I don't know. My head was just going, are you talking about the same Dr. John? Good morning. It's good to be here. Yeah.
It's good to have you.
It's good to have you.
Okay, Mr. Ojon, let's go into the newspapers this morning on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper. Where did that accent come from? Professor Yuwada emerges new APC chairman, pledges unity, party rebuild. Cholera outbreak claims 13 lives in Niger as infections spread. Coalition against APC. Desperate attempt, lacks ideology, Speaker Abbas says. 2,447 people displaced in Berom land, youth group claims. NIDCOM begins evacuation plan of Nigerians stranded in
Central African Republic.
Yes. PDP holds National Convention November 15th, 16th in Ibadan. Create ranches to end farmer header crisis, CDS Mustafa urges. Let's start with the news of the APC chairman. How did that come to you?
Okay, so it's necessary when that happened. Of course, before his emergence, we've been getting feelers. We've been getting feelers that he will emerge because of the fact that, number one, he's from the North Central. Number two, he seems to be a trusted ally of the president. Number three, he is relatively young, and you know, young is actually very relative in this sense, exactly. You understand? In a community where life expectancy is put at 54, 55, 56, it becomes a bit worrisome when you describe a 56-year-old man as being
it's very young.
That's the reality.
If you look at what's going on around Africa, in Uganda and also in Cameroon, so you would say he's even a teenager.
So if you look at the reality of our own political system, it's relatively very young. And most importantly also, in our own kind of politics, there are a lot of things to be considered. One of them is religion, because you have now a Muslim president, a Muslim vice president, and it becomes necessary for them to also have a Christian chairman of their own political party. So when you see one person, he brings in a lot of experiences from different sectors. He's been resident electoral commissioner, he's been minister, he's been governorship candidate. He has an idea of how a party should be run, and he's been minister. And I think he's going to come and rebuild the party, as he has said, and he's going to actually get the trust of so many people.
But it's coming at a time when the APC will be going to they will have their own convention in December this year. What do you make of the timing? And he will also have to drop his portfolio as Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Is that not a political gamble?
No, it's not gamble. This is completely beyond him, and you can see from his expression that he's extremely grateful.
So what happens if he doesn't win in the elections?
You don't know how party elections are conducted. It's not about what the people say. Actually, when it gets to the leadership of the political party at that level, it's about what the leader of the party says, and it's across board. Once you elect
the leader of the party,
the president of the nation is the leader of the party as we speak. So it's not about, you know, when Ganduje, former governor and former chairman, came on board, he was never in the calculation. Nobody ever thought he was going to be the national chairman of the party, but that was what the president wanted at that point in time, and he became the chairman. So for you to be a leader of a political party, as it is now in Nigeria, especially when you are in power, it is whatever the president wants that everybody wants, including even the National Assembly. Unfortunately so.
You must align.
Yes, there was a time in this nation that people had begun to campaign. They've posted posters, they've even bought what they call expression of interest form that runs into millions of naira. But the sitting president said, no, let's look at it. We want to give everybody in the National Assembly an automatic ticket to come back. And that's exactly what happened. So if the sitting president says today that they want to give everybody, for example, in the National Assembly, automatic return ticket, that there's no conversation about it.
But that's undermining internal democracy in the party.
You can hardly count 4 or 5 political parties in our 18 political parties in Nigeria that have what they call internal democracy. In fact, why crisis often breaks out within political party, it's not because of money, usually. It's because of internal democracy. And that's why I don't get necessarily disappointed when a party is in power and you do not get democracy really being served the people. An example of how democracy should be done. Because if a political party does not practice internal democracy in terms of what becomes what, then it becomes exceedingly difficult for them to actually practice democracy in the real sense of it when they are in power. One of the reasons why you always see that the godson and the godfather are always at loggerheads in Nigeria today is because of lack of internal democracy. If the godfather allows for internal democracy, for the best man, for example, to win primary election, you will not have a situation where everybody is fighting.
Because the godfather will say, I selected you, I made you who you are.
So who you are. And at the end of the day, you must actually return the proceeds of governance to the godfather, which is not supposed to be so.
Okay, we have other papers that we're going to be looking at. Let's quickly head to the Punch newspaper on the front page of the Punch. Post-NEC meetings, APC, PDP set stage for epic 2027 face-off. It's interesting that they don't even count ADC inside this mix.
ADC are still warming up. They've not, maybe when they get to their convention level. Yeah.
Labour Party,
you put them in the Labour parties. They're still having internal squabbles with Nanadu Usman faction, Julius Abure, and also the outsider, Lamidi Papa.
The beautiful thing about all these political parties that you have mentioned, I call it beautiful, I don't know whether it's ugly, is the fact that all the political parties actually at the moment have internal wranglings, troubles, and infighting. If you talk about APC, what is bringing APC together today is not democracy, it's power. And that's why I have given the prophetic prophecy, political prophecy here, that after 2027 election, APC will scatter. Because at that point in time, the unifying factor, the president, will concentrate on other things. So now what is uniting APC is the fact that they are in power. The president can actually say, this is how I want the party to move. And everybody, because in political system, everybody is looking for one political favor or the other. And if the president favors you, in our own kind of democracy, I think it's one of the greatest favors anybody can get. So because every politician is looking for that favor, you have to be quiet when the president is talking. And that's why it looks as if APC is, and if you look deep into some states, I can mention a few of those states. If you look deep into APC in Benue State, you will see some issues. In Osun State, they fought to ensure that the governor never came to their party. You discover that there are factions here and there. Even before Rauf Aregbesola moved to ADC, his faction has been very prominent in the political calculation of Osun State. You can see it in some of the other states. As we have it in Ondo State today, I doubt whether the leadership of the party and the governor are on the same page. I actually sincerely doubt that, and we have that across board. In fact, in Lagos State, there was a time that there were a bit of misunderstanding between, should we remove the speaker and not remove the speaker? Yeah. Where are you standing as the leader of the party in this? Where's the president standing? So, in PDP today, the most important factor in PDP today that will determine whether there will be peace or not in PDP is a man who has stayed with PDP for the longest in terms of when we talk about leadership, and who has funded the PDP. Either he comes out to say it or not, is the current minister of the FCT. So it's the one that will determine whether PDP will know peace or not. Unfortunately, I doubt whether PDP will know peace.
Who's the leader of the party now?
Okay, so
now that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has exited.
Okay, so so you see, political parties are very wise, except about
they don't have a leader until
they don't have a leader. You see, the way they drafted their constitution, a lot of them is that they do not actually, even including APC, there's no clear-cut rule. There's no clear-cut rule for the leader of the party. But of course, if you emerge as the governor in your state, you are the leader. If you emerge as the president, as we speak now, PDP does not have a leader,
a national
leader. And the only person some of them actually defer to is a man who stood by the party and who has been able to fund the party. Either we like him or not is immaterial. The fact is that politicians are in constant habit of jumping from one political party to the other. And the question I keep asking them is that if you jump from here to here, who is going to build where you jumped out from? So the leader now, so to say, will be Nyesom Wike. Unfortunately, is actually working with an APC government. So whatever is going to come out of the 2027 election may actually be a walkover.
So November, when they go to conventions, would they now say, okay, when they appoint a national chairman, would that automatically translate to as the leader of the party?
Okay, so they all actually have an acting chairman today, and being the acting chairman, like I said, does not automatically place a role of the national leader. So PDP knows who their national leader is. I don't know, because there's nobody. The only person now, if you want to do the calculation of hierarchy, is a man who contested to be the candidate of the party, who ending up as an aspirant. And as an aspirant, I think is the only person now. But of course, we have people like Bukola Saraki, who's been Senate President, number 3 citizen of the nation. Yeah. So we have a few other people there that have been one or two things that can actually be deferred to as the leader of the party.
Let's look at another newspaper.
We're not on the front page of the
We're not done.
So if we go through, still on the front page, APC power chairs, Uwada Peak brightens Shetima and Northeast 2027's chances. Fake customs officer arraigned after scamming victims 34 million naira. Makinde unveils new Oyo tourist hub master plan. States slashing power tariffs must pay subsidy, according to NEC. 14 villagers, policeman killed in plateau attacks. Natasha to serve out suspension as Senate enters recess. And final story, Nigeria harbors over 200 million illegal arms, according to CDS. How many are we in the country?
Exactly. In
a country of, let's say, 220 million. That is almost... Where's my arm? My arm is here. You can't see it. My arm is the sword of the spirit.
You know, I like what the Punch did with this front page.
The front page, yeah.
Yes.
APC meeting one side,
APC
PDP
meeting, PDP neck meeting.
One was held inside.
Is taking note, and they're doing this in order to press each other's neck in 2027. But where is the ADC?
Okay, so...
and also, I mean, this PDP is saying they're not going to join any coalition for now. Do you think that will change? Because you have PDP governors openly endorsing an APC president. How detrimental will that be to... I mean, if I'm in a position to buy a PDP presidential form, I won't buy it because there are people within my party fold that are governors that have openly endorsed the ruling president. So it's not an exercise in futility.
That is why I have a bit...
What role will PDP play in the 2027 calculations?
That's why I was laughing when I saw the headline, APC PDP set stage. PDP is not setting any stage for presidential election. That's the truth. They are not even building any stage for presidential election. That's the reality.
So are you saying...
Because the truth of what happened in ADC is that a lot of people confuse what's happening in ADC with what happened with APC in 2014. They are actually two different things. What happened in 2014 was merger of political parties. What is happening in with ADC now is political leaders coming together. So they actually have left their political parties to come together to say, oh, let's come under the ADC. So what PDP is saying is that you are not going to see me move into ADC. No, because the concept of the coalition is not for political parties to come, it's for political leaders to come. And the question has always been, what is the electoral value of people who are moving into ADC? But of course, in politics, the concept of perception is more important than performance. For example, if you have a former vice president of a nation move to a political party, it says a lot about that political party. So I think that gradually, if they continue to move at the pace they are moving now, the APC also knows that trouble is coming. APC is like a man who wants to celebrate his birthday in an open space. At the slight scene of the crowd gathering, it's going to be a trouble for him. So now he's now thinking, is it going to rain? But I can come and make a proud statement that don't mind them.
Yeah,
but when I go back, when I go back to my room, I know that actually this can lead to something. And that's why I like the way APC is handling it. You know, at a point they interviewed, I think the chief of staff to the president, and he said something very significant. He said, this is democracy. So I don't want a situation where anybody will demonize what the coalition is doing. The president jokingly called them coalition of confusion. But before 2027... Internally displaced politicians. Yes, but before 2027, we will know that statement will actually change because they are going to give him a run for his money. Because, see, if we have people gathering like this and you continue to have conversation around what you are not doing very well with your economy, when people continue to gather and you cannot fault them, I said it to you before, you can continue to push out data. Democracy is a government of data, of figure and feeling. You can continue to reel out figure and say, oh, we are doing well. But when the feelings of the people is opposed to that, people can actually go elsewhere. And living in a country, a sensitive country like Nigeria, you cannot continue to stroll on the path of purpose and expect people to kill behind you. There's no sense of urgency with the program of government, with the policy and how they are coming across to the people. People will prefer to curse their opponent than to explain their decision and policy to the Nigerian people. We must change from this attitude of making opposition an enemy for us to be able to get across as a government that is serious and wants to do something good for the nation.
Let's also talk about the timing. I mean, governance needs to continue. At the same time, you need to watch your back because you want to return.
Yeah.
How difficult or easy is it? Or are we making a mountain out of a molehill, saying, you know, these guys are talking 2027, does that mean that governance isn't happening, that projects, and would governance suffer? What's your take on that?
Governance will always suffer. In fact, let me put it, sorry, governance has always suffered. I remember in 2001, we have begun conversation about 2003 election. Even that was when this dispensation of democracy was very young. I remember all of that. I remember when the president was afraid that his deputy might run in 2003.
That's Obasanjo.
That's Obasanjo. I remember all of these things. So governance will always suffer, and that's why I say that. I will not talk down on our yearly budget, but any government that comes on board must be clear about what they want to do within the next 4 years. And let it be clear to the people that this is where I am taking you with figure and with commitment, so that even when the president is absent, the minister knows what to do. You see, the concept of leadership, when you read the letters of the alphabet, you get to A, B, C, D, then you get to L, M, N, O. Now, L there refers to leadership. M there is the mindset, N is the navigation, and the O talks about the organization. What that means is that the mindset of leadership determines how you will navigate every organization. But the hallmark of good leadership is for you to be able to communicate your mindset to the people you are leading. So if I am sleeping now, I know that in the 4 years of President Tinubu, he's going to complete the over 700-kilometer road from Lagos to Calabar. I know that. But they are not communicating. And once your people that your lieutenant cannot understand the concept of your mindset, they can't push with your project. And that's why whenever the president is saying, oh, I'm running for 2027, everything seems to be on break.
They're communicating. They said Peter Obi is demarketing the country.
That's another challenge. Let's look at Daily Trust. We're running out of time very quickly. Daily Trust has just one header I want us to take. Let's see if we can do it in 4 minutes, which is our time. Tinubu marginalizing North in resources allocation. Kwankwaso spoke yesterday, and it was a shocker to many who had thought that Kwankwaso met with the president, and they've been meeting, and then there are rumors that he's going to take the place of the current VP. But here he is speaking and telling the president and the presidency that
frankly,
you're marginalizing resources. You're taking care of the southeast, and you're not taking care of the south. Yeah, no. You're not taking care of the north.
This is a big, anyway, let me put a political dimension to it. When you want to increase your stake in politics, you attack people in power. They pay attention to you. That's by design. So he said this, and I would like to quote this. He said a situation where the government is taking our resources and dumping it on one part of the country, and other parts of the country are left just like that. I don't believe that is the right thing to do by a government.
Does he have any specific example?
So
maybe it's the Lagos Calabar.
No, but when you look at that honestly, if you want to judge the president now, I think what they've made the most noise about is their super highways. But if you look at the super highways, it is actually evenly distributed. If you ask me, for example, yes, when you look at let's start from the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar highway. That's number one. I think they are paying a lot of attention to it. I doubt whether they are ready to really complete all of or any. They've
collected more money for that.
Now, they've commissioned 30 kilometers.
We talk about Calabar, Ebonyi, Benue, Nasarawa, and Abuja super highway. That's also about 465-kilometer highway. Now, the one that has begun already from Sokoto. That's the Sokoto-Badagry highway. That's about 1,000 kilometers. And you talk about the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Expressway. It's a major road linking about 12 states also. So when you look at, if you want to judge the government, based on...
But they've not done, these ones are on paper.
Which one have they done? No, which one have they done now?
At least
no, the truth is that...
30 kilometers.
You didn't listen to what Kwankwaso said. Kwankwaso was not talking about executive project. He's talking about the plan.
Yeah.
So he was not actually coming out to say, oh, but he's talking about the plan. It's not as if they've completed the 700-kilometer Calabar Expressway. There's actually, I'm not expecting them to complete it within 2 years. That's not what I'm saying. But if they are committed to it, they can do that in 4 years. So it's not even talking about completed project. It's talking about the ones that are on paper. It's talking about the budget of the nation. It's talking about the allocation of the resources, not completed project. But again, that does not mean that there are not quiet conversations as to him returning to APC. The fact that he has come out to say, Aliu Dume will always come out to tell them the truth. It doesn't mean that he will leave the party. It doesn't mean that he will not get re-elected in 2027 in reasons of it. So the best way to increase your stake is to make your voice loud, especially in areas that will benefit your people. Do you know how many Northerners or Northern leaders that will queue behind him today now because he has actually told that truth to power? But again, it's not new. In our Nigerian democracy, virtually every president except Goodluck Jonathan has been accused of taking care of his own people and leaving the other people in the rain. In fact, it was reversed for Goodluck Jonathan government because a lot of people saw him as being afraid of the North. So he was concentrating on the North. In fact, at a point, they told him from the Southwest that he was not going to get their vote. So he had to come to the Southwest to appoint his chief of staff to pacify the people that were angry.
Are we ever going to get over this?
The only cure from all of this is good governance. And in Nigeria, I say it again, we continue to have the dichotomy, the conversation around, oh, a northern president or a southern president. It's only one person that will come to cure it, and it is only good governance. What we have now is at best mere politicking and giving the people crumbs from what they can have access to. We have the capacity to turn this nation around practically. Practically, there's nowhere you get to in the world today that you will not see Nigeria doing exploit. But what is the missing link? The missing link is like these people do not believe in their government. We must make them believe in their government. We must make them believe in their nation so that whatever expertise they have, they will be able to deploy it for the development of their country. What we are having now is mere politicking that lacks any kind of good leadership.
Professor of Political Strategy.
It's done. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Wow, Professor of Political Strategy. I like that.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Well, coming up next, we have our man on a new segment we brought in just for our beautiful viewers every Friday to cool things down because the pressure is indeed very high.
And that's why we're not wearing our ties today. We need to let our head down. Only we want you to let your head down.
It's already down.
Yeah, it's time for entertainment. Entertainment with Sam Dandy.
It sounds
Thank you so
dandy.
much. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for coming here as well.
Time for entertainment roundup with the freshest entertainment analyst there is and journalist on the face of the earth. Please, a round of applause for the one and only Sam Dandy.
I love the hype. I need this every day. Every day.
I just pay me. Let me be following you like town crier. I'm happy to do the job.
I'm happy to bring entertainment as it hot. Are you ready?
Go ahead. Love it. Let's go.
Let's begin in entertainment, of course, with some good news. African giant Burna Boy has officially set the record as a Nigerian artist with the most charting albums on Billboard's 200. Now, with the release of his latest project, No Signs of Weakness, he's made history with 5 projects featured on the globally recognized charts. Now, it's proof of his dominance in the US, where the Grammy winner is one of the most commercial African artists. He recently got his 7th RIAA certification. I mean, with Ye, Last, and of course on the low being platinum. Speaking about African stars representing, Nigerian sensation Thames has just joined the Spotify's Billion Club. Her collaboration, of course, on the song Wait For You with Drake and Future has surpassed 1 billion streams on the platform. The song quickly became a hit, bagged several awards, including a Grammy, BET, and an AMA, amongst others. Now, indeed, Thames deserves a spot as one of the Afrobeat's big 3. Don't we think so? Now, I want to ask you guys, come on.
Yeah, we need a female there.
We need
Not
a female.
because she's just a female, but she deserves
She's
earned the spot.
What is big 3, big 4?
So
I feel like
who are we taking down? Because there's already 3.
Rema should be
Who are
there.
the 3? Who are the 3?
No,
Wow, I thought it was
Davido, Burna Boy, and Wizkid.
Wizkid.
What happened to Alaji Techno?
No. I think for the male, we should have male big 3 and we should have female big 3. Mix them. So for the female big 3, we only have Thames topping the chart and Iron Star.
Tiwa.
Iron Star. Yeah.
Okay, we gotta put
Tiwa.
Tiwa, no, please, don't Tiwa disrespect to be allowed. Tiwa is their mother.
Exactly.
No, we agree. We're talking
Tiwa
about
has paid her
the
dues.
big three now.
Yeah, she's a big one.
She's a
See, my position when it comes to all these big one, big two, big three, I feel like multiple people can shine at the same time. I'm not a fan of all those big ones.
The biggest songs, biggest artists.
I'm not a fan of all those things. I think they all can coexist as the superstars that they are.
Right.
They've put Nigeria on the global map, and we should be proud of them.
That's your definition. I'm a Tiwa fan.
No, not just about Tiwa. I'm just talking about the whole big three idea in general, where it feels like they have to remove one person to put another. I don't care about all of that.
I need clarification from Sandandi. This big three you're talking about, are you talking about size or weight?
And you
that number four.
Go to your next one.
Cubana chief priest.
We're going to move from this one. Let's go to something a little controversial. Now, online activist Very Darkman publicly rebuked his lawyer, Deji Adeyoju, for urging him to avoid unnecessary risks, calling the caution cowardly in an Instagram video. Now, Adeyoju had posted on X that he often advised Very Darkman to be cautious because if anything happens to you today, everyone has moved on by tomorrow. But VDM fired back, arguing that no death is extraordinary, giving examples like Jesus and political leaders. Now, this one's interesting, but, you know, it's quite advocacy, of course, to play it safe, trying to scare this.
The lawyer and the client are fighting online.
It's not a fight. I understand where Deji Adeyoju is coming from. He's saying that there's a level you will take activism to. After a while, please prioritize yourself and calm down. Why is he saying this? Because there are people who were activists in Nigeria. Look at DJ Switch, for example. Today, DJ Switch doesn't seem to have a life. Everybody has moved on. It seems like everybody has moved on and gone on to do different things. But we have a very short attention span. Next to now, BB Nigeria will come on. Everybody will forget and move on to the next thing. And that's no shade to BB Nigeria, of course. It can be coexisting with whatever is happening in Nigeria. But what I'm saying is we have a very short attention span. And what he's trying to say to his client is prioritize yourself. When they arrest you and you know, when they arrest you, at the end of the day, people will move on. But the flip side is we will not get the kind of change that we want if people don't sacrifice. Something has to give. Sacrifices have to be made. People have to pay the price. And we must also not neglect the fact that when a number of these activists have been apprehended, Nigerians have spoken up for them. Nigerians spoke for VDM, Nigerians spoke up for Scotty Guma, Nigerians continue to show up. It's just that you have to find a sweet balance, really.
Well, it's almost like it's what we do. You know, people say, you know, freedom of speech is, you can make it, but
freedom after the speech,
they can't guarantee. Let's move out the African continent. Now, there's not a lot of great news, but let's start with this one. Beloved actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, famed for his role on The Cosby Show, tragically drowned on July the 21st and on the beach in Costa Rica. Now, Costa Rican authorities confirmed his 8-year-old daughter was rescued by the surfers, but unfortunately not the actor. Despite heroic efforts from vacationing doctors, lifeguards, including 45 minutes of CPR, Warner didn't make it. Authorities ruled the death accidental. His daughter survived and is with family, and fans and colleagues continue to pay tribute to the 54-year-old actor's legacy.
Very, very painful. I still didn't get over it up until this morning.
Yeah.
And I would say it's very painful because if you have someone who has been part of your childhood, where you were growing up, from the Bill Cosby Show up until where he's got into, and then he's also on the series The Resident.
Right. People really like him.
It was like I saw him yesterday on the series, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it.
Can't believe it.
I think he's one of the best actors. When you mentioned Denzel Washington, you should mention his name alongside. But I mean, Hollywood is Hollywood.
I'm glad that his daughter survived. I saw a comment yesterday. Someone said, "Imagine dying not knowing if your daughter survived." It would seem that they both went surfing,
the Kobe effect.
you know, and thankfully they rescued her. But it's really sad. Hollywood there's been like a number of condolence messages and love being shown to him. And we just pray for his family for the fortitude to bear this loss.
Yeah, I know. Once there are, of course, more details, especially with the burial arrangements, of course, we'll bring that detail. Let's move to this one. Cardi B is now facing a legal civil lawsuit filed by an Ohio woman who alleged that Cardi struck her with a microphone during a July 2023 performance in Las Vegas. Now, the suit claims that Cardi had encouraged fans to splash water on her due to the heat, prompting the woman to comply, only for Cardi to retaliate by forcefully throwing the mic at her. The lawsuit seeks damages for assault, battery, negligence, and emotional distress, citing reputational harm and the fact that the microphone was later auctioned for nearly $100,000.
Wow.
Cardi B's legal team has dismissed the suit as a baseless financial shakedown, noting the case was closed previously for lack of evidence. I don't know, that looks like evidence.
Someone did that video.
Exactly.
I remember the video.
Can we play that video?
It went viral. As I started to talk about the story, I remembered that video. Kai, back to sender.
Wow.
Who did this speech for you?
With her left hand.
left hand, though.
So when that video went viral, I think the first thing that people were saying, I didn't know that Kadi had asked them to pour water on her because of the heat. I don't know that part of the information. But what we saw was there had been a constant attack of artists on stage while they were performing. And we thought, this is absolutely ridiculous. They came to entertain you. Enjoy the art. Don't feel the need to rush at them. We've seen Burna Boy. You know,
he's ready to protect his match. Protection.
Because the truth is, you could be an opposition. You could be an enemy coming to attack them. They have to protect themselves.
Right.
Being on that stage, not knowing who's in the audience, it leaves them in a bit of a vulnerable stage. I understand that fans need to show love, but please be careful. Show love with sense. Don't rush them anyhow. Take pictures, do videos, right? But people just need to be careful. Yeah. But that being said, that mic where she stoned the lady.
I mean,
hey,
that was a lot.
You know, there's something to say about the left hand. What did they say? Hey, the left hand.
If somebody slapped you with your left hand, go and check
she was humiliated.
Yeah,
I don't like the fact that the case was dismissed for lack of evidence. So and that's evidence.
So who was humiliated, Cardi or the woman who was?
The woman.
Yes, to be honest, because that mic,
she was only compliant. She was only.
So the thing is, you will check is the reaction commensurate. It's understandable that she was upset, but is the reaction commensurate to the action that was taken?
Wow.
That's another thing to take into account. I'm not the judge.
Well, America is capitalist central. They auction that mic. People buy anything.
Buy the mic that Michael Jackson used to perform. Michael Jackson, the love of my life.
Wow. We got one more story, and I think this is about honesty performances. During a recent stop at her sold-out Lifetimes tour, Katy Perry experienced a frightening mid-air mishap when the butterfly-shaped prop she was riding suddenly malfunctioned, briefly halting the performance and leaving her visibly shaking. Fans watched anxiously as Perry clung tightly to the structure before being safely brought down. After a short pause, she resumed the show, but the incident reminds us of technical issues at Katy's previous show in Australia and also a similar mid-air scare that Beyonce experienced weeks ago at her Cowboy Carter show. I would be scared if that was me.
I don't know why they are doing this.
They're doing it because it's a show. Fans are very insatiable.
Beyonce was stuck.
Yes, and then they brought down the car and then she started using a horse. Fans are insatiable. When the artist decides to stand and perform on stage, people will complain that they're not putting in effort, that they're boring.
Yeah, but you need to consider health and safety.
But these are things that have been happening.
People at the expense of your life. Look at Elizabeth Joyce. Sorry, Portable.
I was going there.
He's always climbing, trying to do the most. But I've wanted to stop.
Baboon. I'm just glad that Katy Perry is fine, and I think just fans should learn to appreciate.
Yeah.
In all of this, they will still continue with the stunts, but I hope that there are safety precautions that are, put in there. But thank you so much, Sam, for bringing
the biggest Friday. We're looking forward to it.
How are you supposed to wrap up the show today?
Well, you better watch East Central, okay?
No, that's not.
Oh, that's not it.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. Now you're talking.
Of course, the gorgeous,
so
beautiful. We will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow, so show her all the love. Go to our comments and
thank you for watching.
Happy birthday,
Olive. And you must say that in E-News, your entertainment.
We will say that.
East Central.
We will say that.
All right, we'll be back again tomorrow. By the next time you see me, I will have entered into a new age. I thank the Lord for keeping me. Happy birthday to me.